Anyway, fellas, thank you for being here. Really appreciate every single one of you. Um, this is All Black Everything panel. We have uh, Thursdays 8 p.m. Eastern. We got a nice group of people with us. I'm really excited to talk to them. All right, we're jumping into it. Thank you for being here, Venom Jesus. Venom Jesus, thanks for stopping by, buddy.
Hey,
Hey.
it's always nice to show up.
Yeah. The fog still hasn't lifted in Brazil. I mean, Lula is
Mate,
free, so I mean, I don't know.
listen, he ain't president yet, okay? And also, it's the camera has actually just arrived in Brazil. It's in Curitiba at the moment, and on the way to my home. But it still hasn't got to my home. Like, blame your own mail system.
All right, thank you so much, Venom Jesus. Thanks for sticking around. Next we have GSU Gambit. GSU Gambit, who is apparently flush with cash, which I don't see being donated to my channel. Is it coming through? Is it coming through?
It's coming through.
No, I'm just kidding. You don't have to, please. You don't have to send me anything.
Right now.
No. You don't have to actually send me anything.
Why do I have to resub?
You don't have to actually send me anything. I was just playing around, buddy. But my man GSU Gambit back with us. I'm so excited to have him here. GSU Gambit, thank you for spending your time here at the community. How you doing?
I am doing good today. Today is a great day. Welcome to the worst generation. Today is a great day. This whole week has been great. Like Fanatic said, the stock market has been booming. So anytime the stock market is green, I'll be very joyous. Other than that, it's just been working. Happy to be back, man. I don't think I've been on a panel this week, right? No, this is my first one this week. So yeah. Happy to be here.
Thank you for the 5 hot tier 1 gift subs. I really was just playing around, but that was awfully kind of
you.
No,
I'm giving it in this week.
All right. But and to everyone who got a gift sub, welcome to the worst generation. Okay. Next we have our good friend Joe Lewis. Goddamn MVP of this channel. Joe Lewis, thank you for coming through once again. How you doing, Joe?
Yeah, things are well. No complaints. I'm not a stonk guy, but things are going pretty okay. Finally have a vaccination appointment for May, because whatever. But things are going all right.
Yeah. Joe, you're one of the smart ones, man. What are you?
Joe, trying to hold me down.
My family, the rest of my family has gotten it. So like my mother, father, and my mother who's a frontline worker, and then my father and my grandmother. Why?
They home alone to you. They
started to grow. Have they started to grow any new appendages or arms or legs?
Be at the dinner table one day, you'd be like, "So when we getting that vaccine?" They're like, "We did."
Like we over here did. I don't know what you talking about. When you getting it? Yeah, that's funny. All right, moving on. To Mr. Chuckles here, Wiggles. Wiggles, thanks for being around. Wiggles, my illustrious mod who helps us put all this together. Wiggle, how are you doing today?
I'm all right. I didn't do shit for this panel. It was all Prime. Other than that, I just wanted to say, Fanatic. I've been looking at the shirt, fire shirt, and that was it. That's all I was gonna add.
Oh, all right, yeah, nice. Next, we have Pyro. Pyro, thanks for coming back. We haven't seen you in a little bit, it feels like.
Oh yeah, no, like y'all caught me on my worst hours, Tuesdays, Thursdays, 10 to 6 a.m. Like I'm glad to be back though. We got some pretty nice topics lined up. Cancel Wiggle, ban Wiggle, of course. Like him and Dr. Seuss, same level of evil, same level of harm done to the community. Yeah, let's get the show. Can't wait to get it started.
Okay, all right, thank you so much. All right,
I'm gonna green eggs and ban you, my guy.
Oh, you see it? Here we go already. Wiggle starting with the violence.
Yo,
Is this black on black crime I heard so much about.
Yeah, this is right. This is what it looks like.
Black on black crime.
This is what it looks like. You got motherfuckers on the corners, right, rhyming at each other, right?
Oh God! Oh God! Please don't.
Hey,
Dr.
Prime, I'm gonna
Seuss
jump
walks.
out. Pull me back in real quick
Gotcha. Yeah.
because I can't see
Seuss
everybody's
walks.
camera for some
Yeah.
reason.
So that Eminem could run. All right. Respect that.
Walk so Eminem could run.
No, that'd be great. You know, like drive-by bars, people throwing at you, right? Oh man, that's all right. So thank you so much for being here, Pyro. Moving on, we have Mr. Fanatic, who could rhyme at us right now. I'm sure he could actually. I'm sure he could throw something at us. But Mr. Fanatic, thank you for being here. Thanks for stopping by. How are you doing today?
Man, I'm doing particularly blessed. Had a very eventful morning. Just tweeting and doing nonsense. It was a great day. I promised the stream, if we had crossed a certain threshold on the hype train, that I would be extra chill today. So y'all could come at me as hard as y'all want to. You're gonna get illmatic today. Promise. You don't see. I can do it.
Like your hat.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wiggle, test him, all right? I want you to test this man.
I can do it. Watch.
Yo, Fanatic, how you feel about black on black crime, man?
You know, I can't even do it.
Like,
Don't even comment on it.
like a panel initiation thing. It's up for Top Dolphin. It's his turn. It's his turn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're about
Oh,
to
am I getting banned next?
Yeah, we're about to see if you can hang. But Top Dolphin / Adam. Adam, thank you for coming through. We met Adam in our open panels, and I definitely wanted to get him in here. So I'm so happy that he accepted an invite. Adam, please tell us about yourself.
Yeah, happy to be invited. My name's Adam. I'm like some normal dude who does like IT job, but I like to. I've been debating people since I was in like second grade, and shit, if I can do that on panels, that would be awesome. So I'm glad to be here and glad to like get some input.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much. Definitely happy to have you along. We'll see how long you'll last here. You will be tested. But thank you so much.
I'm Team Adam right now.
I've been with Fanatic before. I think I'm alright. I think I'll be okay.
I'm Team Adam right now. We're just normal people, and all of you guys are just like the others. You know.
I would say
Gone
Prime,
for a few weeks, Wiggle. What do you
I would
even
say
mean?
I would just say, like, when I watch Prime's panel, there are lots of people in IT that are just usually the best on all the panels. So, yeah, I think you're gonna do great.
Huh? Hey,
I
man.
don't know.
I come
I
from
don't
an
know who
IT
else is-
background, so hey, yeah, we get those people.
I don't know. It's kind of exclusionary. I like the whole alphabet, and you guys can just sit on those two letters. You know, I'm more of an intersectionalist. All right.
Just
You like
ban this guy
diversity,
already.
Wiggle?
Yeah. Well, if you're into intersexualism, I did customer service for a long time before that, and a little sales. So crossing all the sections.
Oh man, customer service, no fun.
Get yourself a night job. Customer service is like nothing.
It's the worst. Oh yeah, that's a good idea though. That actually is a good idea.
Why do you think I took these hours? Customer service sucks ass. No offense to like people in general, but
no,
y'all don't know how to clean up.
Fuck
No,
people.
wait, no. Like, I'm just gonna say it right now. I'm not gonna name, but like, y'all fuckers don't know how to like conduct yourselves in a grocery store. Like the fuck? Why y'all opening cans of merchandise and then putting it back on the shelf? There's no taste testing in a goddamn grocery store.
Oh,
I see
man.
why. I see why some people get really upset.
So that sounds like one of those stories you'd have like a soundtrack in the background, like a sad soundtrack in the background. That sounds exactly what that is.
Feeling to it. There's a good feeling though, like when the store is closing and the hours are done, and you close. I was the door closer, and I close the doors, and you see the customer come through with the item, and then they try to explain to you why like they deserve the right to come in, even though they're just going to return an item and hold everybody else up, and why it's like it's just 10 minutes, and then you go through it like, oh, you become a lawyer overnight. You start going like, Well, what about all the staff that worked here? Shouldn't they have the right to go home?
Wiggle. All you gotta do is just hit them with the sorry, we can't service you right now. We put the registers away and we've counted the bills for the night. And it would be a
Where's the fun
process
in
to
that?
get that
The
back
guilt
out.
trip is the best part. The guilt trip is the best part. Is like, we're slaves, and like the time is up. I haven't gotten to see my family all day, and I'm sorry, sir. It's 8:20, and it's like, can the TV wait just one more day?
That's when you bust out the waterworks. I've been here since 5 a.m. and it's 6 p.m. the next day. I haven't seen my children in 2 weeks. And you want me to stay overtime to return an item?
And realistically, you've only been there for like 2 hours because you picked up the extra shift from somebody else who had to leave to close.
You can see their whole night flash before your eyes while you're watching. You can see the desperation. Like, there'll be a car speeding through, pulling up into the parking lot, a rush to the door, and just watching, calm as fuck. Like, they not getting in. You'll see the son rushing while the dad's making the calls.
All right. I guess we'll get started after all that. Thanks everyone for being here. All right. Topic 1. I think we had some good topics today, actually. I think we got some fire topics. I'm really curious what you all have to say. But topic 1. Tyler Perry has become a controversial figure among the Black community and film critics more broadly. Tyler has been praised for hiring Black talent, but panned for the quality of his films. Should Black people support Black artists regardless of the quality of their work? Yeah. So this is to all of you. We'll start with Venom Jesus. Give us your 1-minute introduction. We'll go from there.
Okay. So if I believe that there are enough good black directors, Black artists, that we don't actually need to support someone, like, as I understood the question would be like financially support them. You don't need to financially support people because there's even though representation will always be kind of an issue, there is enough representation to go around that I'm sure you can find your own thing if you're explicitly looking out for a Black author or a Black artist or a Black movie director. To me, it's kind of like I don't see why you should feel obligated to consume or support content that you don't enjoy. Though I can also, like, I don't fault anyone for doing so. Like, if you just want to give someone support, as in, hey brother, keep you doing what you're doing. And I mean, I'm like, okay. I mean, I just don't feel the need to. I feel like there are enough Black people that I actually do enjoy.
I thought you were like, no, we don't really fuck with Black people like that. I don't enjoy many of them. That's what I heard, but I'm guessing that's not what you meant. Thanks so much, Venom. GSU Gambit.
Yeah, I'm the exact opposite of Venom, like the polar opposite. I feel like we all understand how racial inequality affects us economically, and me, when I find I'll address something generally, then I'll address Tyler Perry specifically. I understand, like, I've used a lot of Black businesses. I try to go out of my way to use Black businesses, even if it's like inefficient. And if I see people that are particularly struggling and I think it's due to economic conditions generally, I give those people bigger tips. Like, my whole goal is that Black people can become, like, economically better. I don't know the word I want to use, but we can start to take up a larger market share, and we can see this across industries that we don't. So a lot of people who are trying to start something will not have the resources necessarily that other people have, and not supporting them is like not supporting like future generations of Black people. So I feel like we should band together and try to help Black businesses that are local to us. But when it comes specifically to Tyler Perry, I think he specializes in plays and stuff. I don't know how much like movies, like, so I don't know if he needs the cinematography of like Marvel or DC or something. But so I think in plays, like, lower level production is fine. So I'd like to hear people expand on what exactly they feel is low quality about him. But yeah, in general, I'm almost always gonna say, hey, support a black guy, even if he's not like has the best quality, because that's usually due to economic factors.
This is going to escalate quickly. Let me not tell you, this is going to be one of the ones we escalate very quickly. All right, let's go to our good friend Joe Lewis.
Yeah, I mean, if you support the idea of like free markets and the idea of like markets and stuff like that, I understand the idea of just like letting the markets of things like entertainment kind of sort themselves out, where you'll have people who are very, very good, you'll have people who are not very good, and the people who are not very good are going to fizzle out. I totally get that. But I do think like we should support businesses where we can and where our interests lie. Now, when it comes to individuals like Tyler Perry, it's kind of a mixed bag, right? I do respect what he does, but I do understand like his practices of going about things like labor unions and stuff like that is really poor. So that's kind of where I am at with it. This has been changed over the past couple months since I've been around here, but I'd say just generally support where you can, but understand that not every single business might have their best interests in mind. Same thing is true with things like entertainment.
All right. Someone, all right, I gotta say something. Someone wrote something real funny in chat. A shout out to you, T. Johns. He said, like, one of these days, I'm gonna figure out what Fanatic has written on his ceiling. What I'm thinking he's looking for is Serenity, but he never finds it up there.
Can Fanatic not hear?
Nah, it's like Queen's
He's
Gambit,
trying
right?
not to
He's
react.
looking at a chessboard that's up at the ceiling.
No, I didn't hear it. No,
He's literally just playing 3D chess.
Yeah, it's just funny as hell because it's like, yeah, a lot of times I do like I'll be looking because I'm like I hear something absolutely ridiculous and I'm like, wait, what?
That's
pretty funny.
No, he's looking at Jesus. He's like, yo, Jesus, give me strength.
Venom Jesus, give me strength.
Venom Jesus, give me strength. All right, let's go to Pyro.
This is very simple for me, right? Like, we want to put up black producers and shit to see more black, made shit. Is one of the consequences. You may not like it, and if you don't like it, that's cool. You don't have to watch like Medea Goes to Jail 2. Like, you don't. If you don't like those movies, you don't have to watch them. Like, I love Tyler Perry. I love watching those movies. They're dumb movies. And I think like most of the people who enjoy them get that like they're jokes, right? Like, I get that like. So, listen, we can sit here, but like, I see it as a joke. Like, I see it like because it's over the top stereotypes, right? You got like Medea just Lord, like just the complete stereotype, and I like. If he wants to do that, fine, but like he's also putting a lot of economic, wealth into it, like Fanatic said, and that is a good thing. Like maybe Tyler Perry isn't, our golden cow or whatever, but like someone who gets funded by Tyler Perry could be. I think it's ultimately a good thing. You don't have to watch him.
Ah man, we're gonna have a good conversation. I can feel it already. Because when I wanted to jump in the middle of your introductions, we know we're gonna have a good conversation. All right, let's go to Wiggle.
All right, like I like Tyler Perry, but like for the course of this panel, I'll say if you look at it as like what is the net positive, right? You're looking at this guy that is breaking the mold, and he's looking at Hollywood, etc. He's created his own film studio. He's hiring a lot of black faces. He's putting a lot of money in the hands of black individuals, and he's branching out in this industry. And then you look at some of the movies that he's putting out, the ones he's more famous for, and the imagery that he's putting of black individuals, and the caricatures that he's putting up, and the negativity that is being spurred from that, from individuals grasping onto those things and being like, Medea is so funny for the wrong reasons, etc. And then you got to think like, what is the net positive? More money in the hands of the few in this industry just because they're black, or like the harm that's caused to the black community because of these images. And I'll leave it at that.
All right, Fanatic.
Wow, yeah. So I think I look at I see like a lot of racism, like when it comes to like support of black things, right? Like forever, black people couldn't get Grammys, black people couldn't, there was just not a lot of positive black representation. And I'm not saying that Tyler Perry typically does the most positive representation, but I recognize the need that we as a people have to start banding together. We see when it comes to everyone else, Hispanics overwhelmingly support George Lopez. We'll recognize like Asians will support their their representation. They made a really, really big deal about Crazy Rich Asians, right? And they're always going out of their way to like hyper support one another. There's been enough damage in this country specifically aimed at like kind of keeping us separated. And so I can understand why we create these like insane, in my opinion, purity tests where it's like, no, it has to be like the best of the best. It has to be up to par, blah, 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 blah. But in reality, in my opinion, I think we have to go out of our way to support one another. And it sucks sometimes because sometimes I'm not a huge fan of Tyler Perry's content necessarily. But at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, I this is the only way I'm going to be able to see it. So in my opinion, I think it's actually a really good thing to support, and I go out of my way, as what's his name said, to support black businesses and to spend my money with black businesses. When Black Panther came out, which was like one of the greatest Marvel movies of time, if not the single greatest Marvel movie of all time, I remember there were several Anglo-Saxons that were making statements like, well, this is really a black moment, and I want them to have their moment, and therefore refusing to see the movie on open weekend so that it kind of detract from the numbers and stuff like that. So we have to go out of our way to look out for our own, because they're definitely not going to look out for us.
Oh man. See,
Yes.
Venom Jesus, give me strength right now. Oh boy.
I'm with you, Prime. I'm with you.
I'll fight the whole goddamn panel if I have to. All right, I'll do it. You know what? I've done it before. Top Dolphin, you better be on my side. This is your first test. Go ahead.
All right. Well, I don't know. I'm not like gonna pick a side just because Prime's on that. Personally, I think that Tyler Perry, he makes some really crappy movies, I guess. I personally like a lot of them, but I'm known for liking crappy movies like Transformers. That's my shit. But at the end of the day, like, one, he has a film studio and he gives opportunities to the black community, which is amazing. And you can support what he's doing without being like, yo, like, I want to see all his movies because they're good. We don't have to like falsely like claim that his movies are good. We don't have to falsely he's big enough that we don't have to go like see all of his movies to support him. You can support like the idea of what he's doing in his film studio and like giving black people opportunities without going out there and like watching single one of his movies, because like if you don't like it, you don't like it. Like one thing that it seems like we have been unable to do sometimes is like criticize black people. It's like he's big enough to where you can be critical of him just like you can be critical of anybody else and still support the like overall idea of what he does.
Yeah, I mean, I would just add that, like, and this is not necessarily my position, but it's just like a position that I thought of that someone could conceivably have, right? That if you're going to have representation and you want representation, and we all want that, we all want more representation for black individuals, right? We want that representation to be as good as possible, right? So if not even talking about Tyler Perry, because I'm gonna be honest, I don't know many of his works. I don't actually watch anything of them. But going off the premise of the question, that is an individual that underperforms in the entertainment sector, I'd say that it would be good to have to instead focus your efforts on those that are less on the spotlight than people like him, and focus on people that are actually providing good content and try to lift those people up. For instance, an anecdotal example, right? Like, let's say there is a mod, right? And let's say that mod, he's black, and some people say that the mod is a good person. Even some people claim that the mod is a good person, even, but he's a very, very bad mod. Instead of having that mod there, you could ban that mod and replace with another black individual that just does the job better. Because sometimes it's not about just representation; it's about better representation. So Ben Wiggle. So that's about about the end of my thesis.
I feel
That's different because
I feel like this plays into the whole, like, we all understand like work dynamics and how to be black in a job you usually have to be very good. You can't just be normal. And I feel
Exactly.
like y'all are expanding that and embracing it, and it's disgusting to me. Like, it's okay for somebody to be black and not be the best of the best of the best of, or however you feel. Like, I'm gonna be okay the day that it's okay to have mediocre black people still being successful. So the idea that he has to be the perfect representation, like just
I
like what Fanatic was saying, the purity test is disgusting to me. Like, people won't get to where you're trying to go if there can't be normal everyday black people who are also successful.
Understand where you're
I
coming
I
from,
heard
Gambit. I understand where you're coming from, Gambit, but I think like the thing is like it's that like that aspect of like we've been put down for so long. We're still trying to get our get our steps into like the whole Hollywood shit, and it's like like the first thing I can think of to like a comparison is like Adam Sandler. That dude makes shitty comedy movie after shitty comedy movie after shitty comedy movie after shitty comedy movie. Same thing with Tyler Perry. There's like fucking 23 Medea movies, including an animated appearance. Like I get it, but then like you got to look at it from the black aspect. Like we don't have that many fucking directors or like people with movie studios and
Do you
shit.
think
That's
building
exactly
a movie?
my point.
Hold
Hold
Do you
on,
think
hold
building
on.
a movie? Yeah, go ahead.
So I think this is the point, though, right? We don't have a lot of black movie directors, and the thing is, if we actually shun the one that makes it, then they get to go ahead and make the excuse, like, "Yeah, see, you guys, we tried it. It's just that people just aren't into that kind of media. That's why we're not really moving forward.
No, I'm
That's
just
why
saying
we're
like, I
doing everything we
understand
can
why
not to
people would
support
per you.
that."
Yes.
And
I want-
and I want to point out, like again, like if we don't ever get any representation, then the purity test, like the very small representation we get, and then put all of those people out of a job, and then feed into the narrative that these movies don't sell. That's why we don't do it. If you remember, that was one of the biggest backlashes against that when they were making that claim when it came to Black Panther, and they were saying black movies don't sell, black movies don't do well, black movies are less likely to win awards, black movies get less funded, and all of these things. And then that movie came out and just took a dump in all these different people's throats that were trying to trying to say otherwise. Like that sort of thing is absolutely essential if we want to start actually getting opportunities, because a lot of times those opportunities are intentionally being kept from us. There is an absolute gatekeeping in Hollywood. So
Okay.
I don't know.
I think like
And
right now
who's
the only
gonna-
thing I would say is like I love what Tyler Perry's doing. Don't make a 24th Medea movie.
Okay.
No, but listen, though.
I-
But
Yo,
who's
but if
gonna
people
give?
buy it
wait,
and people watch it?
Sorry.
If
Yeah, but
people buy it and people watch it, then like obviously there's a market for it. He's not making these movies and then like not making any money off of them. So there's a market for it, and like you just don't like it, then you just don't like it. But like it's not like you could say like maybe if you think Medea movies are like causing harm to the black community because of the way they portray black people, then maybe you could say maybe you should stop making Medea movies. But if you think that the movies are just bad like art, but like there's a lot of people out there watching and buying like his stuff, then like I don't think we should be able to be like, oh, don't make another Medea movie. I mean, you can just not watch it.
Okay. So
Like
let's
my opinion is just a little bit of both, but go ahead,
let's
Prime.
go. Wiggle has been waiting. I'm gonna let Wiggle in, and I'm about to fight everyone, so it's gonna be cool.
Wait, I can't see Wiggle at all. Y'all can?
Are you just
Wow.
wiggle blind, or you just like is
It
mental
says
block?
he has his video turned off.
It
Okay.
is. Yeah, we see him. If you want to pop out,
I'm just one black voice that's just trying to rise up in these individuals. I'm just fucking you. But like I heard something and I hawked on it because it was so incorrect. It was like it was said that like I just feel, or someone was saying that like the idea that we should be okay with criticizing like black actors or something, and that we don't normally do. No, that's like the complete opposite. We're so hypercritical of every black entertainer in the space. They do one thing and we'll remember it forever. They're like, we're so hypercritical, and it's not just us like black people, it's like the entire country is. So it's like that it's just the focus that we're on. So it's like the idea of like, do we have to acknowledge like a problem that's happening with someone? Probably not, because we're the minority and the majority is already doing that for us. Kind of like we live in the United States, right? And there's things that are happening, and then we have elected officials that are focused on the stuff that we're not focusing on. The same way as a minority in the United States, we don't have to criticize other minorities because the majorities are already doing that for us.
Wait.
Every single day.
But if we go out and we're like, oh my gosh,
every single black movie that ever comes out is the best thing that we've ever seen. People just aren't going to take it seriously.
But who said that? You can exist before that. You could not criticize them and also not say that those movies are good.
Okay.
You could just do both. You could just not do both and just not talk.
So like instead of like talking about it and like giving like conversation to the topic, just like be quiet and don't talk about it. Like that seems 100%.
Like 100%.
It's like
what do you like? What do you mean? If Tyler Perry's movies, if Tyler Perry's movies are like successful and then they're creating black jobs, etc., and like you think the movies are bad, and there's already people saying that they're bad, and large proportion of those people are white, and they might be doing so for ulterior reasons. Like, why do you have to step up and say that they're bad too? Why is your voice ultra important in this specific case?
Yeah, hold on. I need to. Listen, we're already fighting. We're fighting to get into these spaces, right? And sometimes, it really bothers me that it seems like you guys are acting like it's such an assault against your integrity, like as if it's just you're an actual movie critic. You're the new Cisco and Ebert, right?
I'm a movie creep.
Like you, right? So you got to go out of your freaking way to make sure that you let everyone know. Like Tyler Perry movies, right? Yeah. When good movies happen, like After Earth by Will Smith, amazing movie, but everyone wants to talk trash about it because it's a black movie written by a black man, and Hollywood is doing everything they can to hate on this dude.
Okay,
I feel like there's
last thing. Let me in.
Last thing. I just feel like if we're gonna sit here and be honest, like as African American, as black people, right? We recognize how much we're fighting against. Support black artists. Fanatic put out really good music on Spotify. You can just literally go there and listen to it. Araya's my latest single. Bittersweet's the single before that. Listen to Noir and tell me that song will put you in your feels. Like, support black artists.
Fanatic, I love you. And like, he's right. Fanatic's music is amazing. I'm gonna hit you on one point, and then Prime has been like itching to go. After Earth was a terrible movie, not because not because it was made by Will Smith, but because M. Night Shyamalan was involved. That dude is fucking poison. The Last Airbender would like a fucking word with you, bro.
Right.
Like,
so what's
okay, all right. No,
I'm gonna have to watch this tonight.
Here we go.
It's a great movie.
It's not, but anyway, we're coming back at it. All right, now it's my turn. Well, here we go. All right, so what's this nonsense that like we can't criticize, right? Like because white people happen to be criticizing. The fuck? What's that got to do with me, right? Like
I didn't say that.
Yeah, no, fair enough. But just because like. It's very possible that you have white critics, right? Or critics of other races, not have to just be white people, but criticizing Tyler Perry because of his race, right? Because of the people he hires, right? That he has these all-black casts, right? It's definitely a possibility. Yes, they're bad actors, right? But what the fuck does that have to do with me? I'm looking at his movies and they're fucking garbage, right? So I'm not even talking about Medea is actually the least of it. That's actually the least of it. It's the other things he does that I actually find more egregious. I hate this narrative. First of all, his movies are like copy-paste, pace with the plot, right? And especially like when it comes to those dramas, right? Talking about a woman who's been wrong, but in actuality, she was, I don't know, she was being less than godly, right? And so, of course, after she's fallen, she goes to the church, right? And is inspired, and then all of a sudden everything's good again. It's terrible. It's horrible. I remember I remember I had heard bad things about Tyler Perry's movies, like in the ether, right? But I didn't have like that much of an opinion on them, right? And then a friend took me to the movies, and I'm watching this movie. I'm like, why is this so fucking awful? Like, it was a movie that I had wanted to see. I forget which one it was. But it was a movie I saw in the commercials. I wanted to see, and then. The plot didn't make any made no sense, right? It was one of his movies. It had Kim Kardashian in it. You guys know which one it was. It was a drama. Again, about a woman who was wrong. So if that narrows it down for you, I don't know. But it was just hot garbage. And afterwards, so I didn't come in there looking to like shit on it, right? But afterwards, I was told, oh yeah, it's a Tyler Perry movie. That's a Tyler Perry movie. This garbage fire that I just experienced. That's a Tyler Perry movie. Yes, I can. You can be an honest critic, right? And say this is garbage. This is not good filmmaking, right? Now look. When it comes to hiring African Americans, I'm with it, right? In fact, I've heard black actors talk about this. Talk about like, hey, like I'm blowing up now, but before that, right? Before, when people weren't paying attention to me, when I wasn't getting the pay that I needed and all that, right? Who was hiring me? Tyler Perry was hiring me. Tyler Perry put me in his movies, helped sustain my career, all right, until I could get to this point. So I appreciate that. I can do both, right? I can appreciate him from hiring talent, right, and sustaining people. The other side and saying he's garbage, like he's terrible. And I hate the messages he sends, right? I hate the purity test, right? I hate like his definition of like a woman, what a woman has to be.
We get it,
that,
Brian. You don't like movies. You don't like movies with female leads.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
No, but like I get what Prime's saying, but like honestly,
just say that, Prime.
Like honestly, the one way we fucking send that message is like stop, like just not watch those fucking movies. Like everyone in the world will have an opinion about their good movies and bad movies, but
that's the question.
No, but
that's
my question is this though.
Yeah.
My question is this, y'all.
Yeah.
If we don't support people like Tyler Perry who are giving others a platform, the pure person that you're looking for will never have the chance. This pure person y'all are looking for probably existed, but there was not a white person to give them a job, right?
Right.
So we need to increase the amount of black employers, and that gives the gateway for these pure souls who potentially may drop from heaven and be on your TV. I don't know. Like,
I'd say it's more of we can be critical of Tyler Perry's work.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but I think one of the
just not publicly.
Lost. Well, not even. I think publicly we should. I think one of the problems is that we have to be actually critical of the work and be able to articulate why we might dislike certain things. One of the problems is, and this is like really rampant in film spaces, when people critique a film, they'll just say like something is bad and not be able to even articulate why it's bad. And it's totally fine for you not to understand why you might not like something. But I think for people who are making reviews, it's up to them to make sure that they're articulating in such a way that gives people an understanding as to why things were potentially wrong with the film. Like as an example, I think the Marvel films are bad. And why are the Marvel films bad? Because they're filling a niche of a particular genre for every film, without doing it in its best possible way. So it's very cool that they're able to recreate heist films, recreate the spooky horror thriller genre. They're able to recreate genres to keep their films fresh without them really adding any additional substance to the table. Another thing that they're very poor at is the idea of, because they created this expanded universe, people have this expectation of the next thing without enjoying what's currently in front of them. So despite the fact that you have a WandaVision,
that's not a Marvel
every
thing.
Single week,
Marvel didn't do that though, right?
Well, I mean, you'd have to be able to articulate other examples of massive film franchises
that
give you excitement.
They're the first. They're the first.
Exactly.
Sorry.
So
but you're saying
wrong.
that I'm just saying on that second point, you're like Marvel's bad at that, but like that's the audiences and their expectations.
Days of Our Lives have been doing this forever,
Yeah,
right?
Right. But I'm saying that that's a it's a criticism, right? Like it's a criticism to say that one of the problems is that they don't do a good job at letting their films live in the moment without there being sort of hype for the next thing. That's one of the reasons why Black Panther is
advertising. Sorry.
That's the subscription model.
Again, like I can get into a lot because it's again like this isn't like a new phenomenon of a problem, right? And you brought that up.
I don't think it's
This is like criticism.
Hold on.
Like,
I don't like the idea that everyone who wants to criticize like a Tyler Perry movie has to be a fucking film critic. Fuck film critics. Half the time they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Too many. I go into a movie, I watch a movie.
Take.
This movie, like, emotionally, I don't know what it is, but I leave the movie and I enjoy it, right? And then some dude from like Rotten Tomatoes or whatever goes on and is like, well, there wasn't this like one like super artistic thing. Yo, if you like the movie, you like the movie. If you don't like the movie, you don't like the movie. And you should be able to say your opinion regardless. Now, there is a space for the super critical, like film critic artsy like conversation, but the average person doesn't give a fuck. The average person walks into a movie, enjoys it or doesn't enjoy it, and then they talk about it. And
Well,
everybody
Then I
feels
ask you
that-
to look at it.
I gotta get on this fucking small brain smooth mozzarella team. There's the critics. There's a critics aspect of film reviews, and those are very important because a film critic's review of a film leads to those films being produced more. But the problem here is, especially with Tyler Perry, is that he doesn't have the critics on his side when it comes to reviews. So for Tyler Perry, one way that he can really make sure that he expands beyond the niche of Atlanta is having very strong film critic reviews. The problem here is that
Film
he's a
reviews
very
aren't the only driver of like.
well,
but-
no shit, fucking Sherlock. I haven't watched. This is the first time you watched a movie.
So you
Jesus
can't
Christ!
say-
No, I'm not fucking
say
finished. I'm
that,
not
like,
fucking
everyone
finished
is
with this
like-
dumb, non-interesting, smooth brain
Joe,
take.
go ahead,
that
go ahead,
film critics don't mean shit.
Joe, go
They
ahead.
clearly matter. But the problem is Tyler Perry. His films are widely respected by the audience, which is why they get continually produced. But a problem, and Fanatic can agree with this, I'm sure, is that when you don't have film critic support, you cannot expand beyond just making things for the consumer. And I think that's where the frustration lies.
Well, so this is what I would say. Hold on, wait. This is what I would say, because I think y'all are. I don't know. I think y'all are missing a big point. First off, Tyler Perry is a billionaire. The fact that a few of y'all on the panel don't like his films, I don't like his films. That doesn't matter. Black women have made Tyler Perry a billionaire. Maybe we aren't the target audience for his film. Like, and that's okay. Like you can say, hey, men don't like it, but he's a billionaire. Like, so maybe he's not intending to make films for you.
No.
That's
not the same. That's not the same. That's not the same thing.
I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna let you go.
No, here we go. I'm going now. GSU Gambit. Look,
Right.
I hear you. Like, maybe it's not the target
I
audience.
wasn't done yet, though.
That, right?
No, I wasn't done yet though.
Okay.
But listen, all right, in addition to us not being the target audience, there's also a lot of financial data that shows that Black women make a lot of consumer decisions. So the idea of him catering to Black women is also smart, because us on this panel may not spend the same amount of money as a woman that's into this content. So the fact that he's, one, trying to empower Black women, two, Black women like the content that he's producing, the idea that I would just sabotage him, and I hate a lot of Medea, but like I understand that he has a lane and I'm not a part of his lane. But no, go ahead.
Okay, no, let's do it. Hold on. Sorry, buddy. No. So like, I get that I'm not the target audience. No, that I think it's a very good point though, that I'm not the target audience. That doesn't mean that I can't tell if the movie is bad, right? Like, I'm not into like romance films though, right? I'm not part of their target audience, but I can look at a romance film, right? And even if I dislike the genre, I can say, is this a bad film? Like, does the plot make sense? Are the characters believable? Are they playing up the stereotypes, Tyler Perry? Are they does it grab you? Does it add anything to the genre, as Joe Lewis was saying previously, though his target was way off. But like, you can actually judge these things even if you're not the target audience. So we can do that, right? Like, you can be excited about. Like, again, I came to that movie, and I was excited to actually see it because I'd seen the commercials, right? I had no idea who was by. I had no idea. And I was extremely excited to jump into it, right? And then it was just hot garbage, right? The Medea stuff I actually think is more forgivable because it's more comedic.
No, it's hot garbage.
Because it's funny.
I mean, it's bad, right?
It's funny.
No, it's all garbage. But I understand that it's not for me. So I can say I understand it's not for me. I can say it's garbage. But if it's not for me and I'm calling it garbage, I'm kind of sort of wasting time.
So there's in chat. So I just want to read this one person. I'll jump right back. I'll give you. I'll go straight to you, Wiggle. But in chat, there's a person, Umi Oni. Thank you for being here. Right. Talking about Tyler Perry, says he literally highlights those black stereotypes that people used to portray in films, right? I.e., Mammy, Jezebel, Sephora, etc. And that's my issue. Don't give me a platform, meaning Tyler Perry don't give actors a platform if they have to play a stereotype to stay on that platform. Like, so you're saying like, oh, he's giving black women upper hand, but he's putting them in these roles, right? Like, that's what he's doing. That's what he's highlighting, right? And he's having such. All right, no, I'm going to go off more, but we're going.
Black women are liking
a lot of. Tyler Perry also does a lot of really like good portrayals of black people. Like it's not all like I mean, he does a lot of like the like Medeiros. You could call her a character if you want. You have like the stereotypical black man, but he also shows like when like a lot of the characters he plays himself are pretty like I think in one movie like he's like the stereotype like almost like a white guy who's black. You know like. The Oreo concept. I don't like that concept, but like they kind of give that like he gives characters like that kind of impression too. So like it's not that he only shows caricatures or only shows black people.
Sure, he shows others, but like the movies are just bad. Hold on, I promise Wiggle. Then I'll go to Venom Jesus. Okay.
All right, so if this is like a redistribution scheme, right? And you're saying that when this is a person that is hiring individuals, he's putting forth like some sort of civil rights type of action, and he's employing black people. These black people will then move forward and help other black people. It's just about redistribution. And if he's doing it, wouldn't you want to artificially create put this person at the top, even if you don't like their work, if they're doing all this net good or what you consider net good? So if that's as simple as freely just saying, yeah, his movies are bomb, which is different from my take before, but just saying, yeah, his movies are amazing, even if you don't believe it, because just by doing that, which is free, it will equate to him getting more money and employing more black people, which will then help you. Why not?
Okay.
And if the argument is, well, I as the individual, I deserve the right to say this movie was shit because I didn't like it. And then the other part of it is like you have to decide whether you want to be an individual or you want to coalition build, or you want to help black people that you may perhaps dislike because that's better for the color.
Tyler Perry doesn't allow unions, right? Doesn't allow unionize a work site, right? He doesn't allow unions. He doesn't want to pay his people more, right? So let's say, like, look for his top line actors, right? They're good, right? They're good. He's definitely helping out them, but the people below, he could be doing better. He could be doing better.
Giving them experience.
And he's a motherfucking billionaire, right? And as always, as we know. Should not exist, right? So there's that to all of that, right? So no, I don't have to put money in his motherfucker's pockets, right? He can put his money in other people's pockets. He's got enough of it, right? So he can put money in other people's pockets. He can let them unionize, right?
Many people are talking.
Rights. So I'm sorry, like no, he doesn't. I don't actually have to support this dude. Like
no, Prime. Can you say that again? We didn't like it was like three of y'all talking, so
okay.
I missed like everything you said.
I just went off. God damn it. All right, here we go. He doesn't support union rights. He doesn't allow union workshop. He doesn't raise the wages of his employees, right? Like, as far as I know, if someone correct me if I'm wrong, but as far as I know.
Most films don't, so.
Excuse me?
It's not a Tyler Perry exclusive phenomenon. Black actors, minorities, women all get underpaid compared to their.
No, I'm not talking about that. No, I'm not talking about the actors. I'm trying to say. I'm saying below, like not the top line actors. It's
true
in
every. It's true. It's true across the industry.
No, please, can you stop interrupting me? Thank you. If you talk about like the people below in terms of the movie production sites, like he's not actually paying them what they're worth. And he won't let them use it, won't let them organize, right? That when Hollywood's a union goddamn town, right? So like he's in Atlanta conveniently, right? But Hollywood's a union goddamn town. Like I'm saying, like he's become a billionaire off of that level of exploitation. So no, I don't actually have to. I don't actually have to support him. It's not actually an imperative as a black person to support the black community to be supporting this particular artist in general. So no, I don't have to do that. But I'll let Venom Jesus in. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Wiggle touched on some points that I do think are pertinent about the whole what about my freedoms kind of thing. And I'll say this: I think that there is a limited amount of energy that each person is capable and willing to deposit on how they're going to improve their communities, right? And to me, this idea of just countering reality in order to prop up an individual in order for through his magnanimous actions trickle down onto more jobs to black individuals. I feel like if you want to support the black community, I'd say like your energy is better spent elsewhere. And not only that, I think that it's very, very funny to look at bad movies and say, holy shit, that's a bad movie. That's so fun, and I think that me being able to do that while also supporting the Black community and working for representation of the Black community in other ways is perfectly compatible, right? Why would I waste my energy on someone that makes bad movies and that makes questionable business decisions when I could directly improve my community around me so that they can get jobs?
One concept I think that like we really like it's really useful is like when it comes to marketing and stuff like that, all press is good press. So if someone goes out there and says, "Yo, this Tyler Perry movie is shit," and then everyone else is gonna want to go see that Tyler Perry movie and give their opinion on it. This is like basically the whole premise behind like why the Sharknado movies are a thing. It's like everyone hates these movies because they're just bad, but like people keep going out to see them because they want to see the bad and complain about it on Twitter with everybody else. So like the idea that like us criticizing his movies like in a negative way and saying these movies are bad is going to stop the movies from being produced, I think it has the opposite effect. I think as long as the more people talking about it, whether it's positive and negative or negative, is going to like help get that message out there.
Well, I'd say this is the Colin Kaepernick take. This is saying, all right, look at him. He actually wasn't that great of a football player. I want to step up and say, be the fan. He's not that great of a football player. Look at him. Like that's the reason this is occurring.
That's what I wanted to respond. That's what I wanted to respond to Venom with, right? Like, I get it, right? The movies may be shit, and there are other Black producers I could go and support. Jordan Peele's a really good producer, and like his movies are awesome. You know what though? He doesn't have a fucking studio. He's not like, you know, the one Black, you know, producer with a fucking studio in Atlanta and like, you know, focusing on making Black films. Like, I have problems with a lot of his movies. I will shut up so he can succeed. So like maybe people can be like, yo, look at Tyler Perry. He did good. Like we could let others do it too. Like I get it. He's not a good fucking producer. His movies are shit. But
maybe, but I'm not saying that
wait, hold on, Venom. To Dolphin's point, like it's not the same with like the Sharknado movies. The Sharknado movies are fucking intentionally bad, right? They made 6 and it just gets bigger and bigger every time.
There are
and you
6
get more
Sharknados?
actors for one thing. They're made to be shit. Like Tyler Perry's movies, unless he's come out in an interview and said so, I don't think he's like, yo, I'm making these movies to be intentionally garbage.
No, but he's a garbage director, so that's you got no choice about that. So let's go to Fanatic because we've been waiting quite patiently. Fanatic.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. It's like I don't know if we're talking past each other or what's happening here, but it seems like I think we're making two like really distinct points where it's like some of us are saying if we don't support him, no one will, and other people are saying his movies are bad. Those two things are not mutually exclusive. Both of those things can be true at the same time. Like if we don't support him, no one else will. That's my point. So like the idea is I feel like, considering all of the net good that's happening, that this is worth doing. Like this is somebody that we should support. I don't know. I don't know what else to say. It's really that simple.
Joe, you wanted to say something?
It's frustrating.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. Venom Jesus said some things that were just insane to me. You made a statement like you said something that was weird. You made a statement that like, well, why would you waste your time and your energy doing that when you can like support your community by giving them jobs? Well, for one, if you're supporting Tyler Perry's movies, they are employing Black people, they are giving them jobs, and in two, you're acting like it takes a whole lot of energy to just shut the hell up and not talk bad about his movies. That doesn't take like some of your energy to do that. Number one, I mean that's one thing, and then like yeah, they're not mutually exclusive. Like they are accomplishing the thing that you're talking about. Like improving representation does have all sorts of net benefits as far as like changing people's cognitive bias and helping people to see helping people to hire more people and all of that stuff. So all of these things, it just sounds like I don't even know what the hell you're talking about. It just sounds so weird.
I was talking explicitly about the support aspect of it, like the thing that Wiggle said, which Wiggle did say that it was like contradictory to his own point about saying, yeah, Tyler Perry's movies are fucking amazing, but if I'm going to do this sort of propaganda, I'd rather do propaganda for other people and other causes if I'm going to like spend that time doing propaganda.
How valuable is your time? Let's
Wait,
how valuable is one person's time? Like the average, and like it's just saying a comment offhand. Like this is it's like you like in a short period of time, right? You could create a whole movement. You and several individuals have created the band wiggle movement, a great movement in such a short period of time. And then the time and energy you put into that was very, very small. So think about taking that energy and also putting an equal amount in Tyler Perry. How hard is that?
Yeah, so I'd rather put the energy on something that isn't disingenuous, you know?
Wait,
So
I think it was Fanatic who said that like we should just not talk trash about his movies. I don't know if you realize this, but like if Tyler Perry makes bad movies and then we don't talk about him at all, he's just gonna fade into irrelevance. Like the worst thing you can do about a black creator is just be silent about them. Ever. Like you can talk positive if you think they're doing like harm, you can talk about that. If you think they're doing like if you think they make bad art, you can talk about that. If you think they're making really good art, you can talk about it. But like the worst kind of press is silence. And if we like don't talk about these things instead of like being critical of it, like he's just gonna fade into irrelevance, and then nobody is actually gonna watch his movies.
No,
and
his target demographic is still gonna buy his movie and talk
Exactly. Thank you.
Well, we're not
We're not talking
going
about
to-
everyone.
He
The
is
thing
like,
is, like, it's not
Tyler Perry.
Wait, I just gotta say, it's not Tyler Perry's fucking movies I'm worried about. We've already established he's really fucking wealthy. He already has his movie studios. If Tyler Perry goes under, he can fund other black directors and shit. Like,
Wait, but hold on, wait.
No,
Let's not
no.
talk about his wealth. Let's not talk about his wealth like it wasn't earned in the movies, in the very movies that he's doing. Like he didn't just recently acquire that billionaire status. Like he didn't just recently build this studio for people to be able to work at. Like we're talking about this like as if this is like already just a done issue and we never have to deal with it again. Like not to still something active. He's probably in the negative considering his studio. It's not been in operation that long. So like the idea. Now I'm not saying that he's not still wealthy, but like relative, like this thing has been costly. Those things employ a lot of people. I know plenty of people, being a person that lives in Los Angeles and in LA County, I know plenty of people who left LA specifically to go to Atlanta to work in Tyler Perry's studio. I know about how he's changing the lives of several people. Like we know how he's hiring predominantly black people who would be unemployed in this industry otherwise. We know about how he's launching the careers of people. So like this isn't some zero sum. Like it's weird to me. I don't know if you guys are just uninformed about who he is, what he's doing.
No, hold on. I've got no. You looking for articles and stuff about that. We got articles about like his behavior, right? This is the an article talking about his past behavior. I put it in Twitch chat. I can also put it in the thing for us and in our group DM. But no, like it's not like this information isn't out there. Like we can actually look for this, right? We can actually see. Again, I put it in the group DM for us. Tyler Perry is hot garbage. I'm gonna let someone else in before I jump in.
But is this exclusively a Tyler Perry thing? Like we understand how
it doesn't have to
nefarious
be.
Hollywood is exactly. So why are we going so hard on Tyler Perry's nuts?
Because we're talking about Tyler Perry. Because we're talking about that's a bullshit.
But people
that's bullshit though. Like if the subject about Tyler Perry,
I'm not gonna have us die on this dumb fucking hill. I'm not gonna have us die on this dumb hill because the same things that Tyler Perry does that we are critical about other film production studios do at mass. So yes, can we be critical of Tyler Perry? Absolutely. But people are gonna get this weird idea that Tyler Perry is the only bad one, and that's just not true.
Okay, let's call out capitalists anywhere they are, but we can call out this black capitalist for playing into the capitalist system, right? For being no better than others, right? No, he's not the only one. He's not the only one.
Name another one of the biggest names. But like what everyone's trying to say is
too many people talking. Holy crap! I'm saying he's not the only one, right? Like he's the only one on this scale, but like that doesn't mean that just because he is a like
crime. That means he's the only one.
No,
you gotta admit with that.
No. I'm talking about black directors. Well, I'm talking about black directors. That's what I mean. Like, because I'm criticizing his movie, so I'm talking about black directors. He's not the only black director. And once again, yes, other movie productions could be up to similar things, right? I never denied that. I'm saying that I'm criticizing this motherfucker. This motherfucker was in the question, so this is the motherfucker I'm talking about. I don't know what the fuck. I don't know why that's controversial.
Right,
But we can
Right,
expand.
right. But then, like,
right?
would you give the same type of criticism to Spike Lee?
Yes. If he was doing the exact same thing, fuck yes, I would. Holy crap! Who do you think I am? How many times I've gone after capitalists right here, right? And I don't give a shit if they're black, right? That's my difference because I'm fucking I'm equal opportunity here. You guys are making a special exception because he happens to be black. I don't do that. Not for him. Not for anybody, right? If you're doing wrong, I'm gonna call you out on it. I'm gonna call it like I see it every fucking time. That's what I'm doing. Stop. I'm gonna let someone in. Katarana, thank you for being so kind as to join us. It's really nice to see you. We've been really excited to have you around. Thank you for joining us. Katarana, you want to say something? She's working on it.
You're muted.
She's working on it. There she goes.
A socialist mic is there. No, I'm joking.
And you're still
muted.
You're still muted. You're still muted.
Your other mic is muted.
You're still muted.
You're saying good stuff though.
Yeah.
Yes, I love this.
Yeah. Talking about Prime's great takes. Nope, you're still muted. You're still working on it.
The Socialist Union mic is not able to.
Tyler Perry was hosting this.
Yeah.
And to me, it is kind of a conflict of interest, right? Because on one hand, I can absolutely see the argument of like this black guy and representation and more black jobs and all that stuff. But also, like, should I be incentivizing someone who is like, according to Prime, I don't actually know, but I'm taking what Prime is saying as it's like fact for the sake of argument, that he's like a union busting individual. And I'm like, I don't like this. So if Tyler Perry is brought up, am I going to bring up the fact that he's black and he's giving us representation, or am I going to bring the fact that he's fucking busting unions? And which of those two things do I value more? Right.
Well, here's the problem. If it was just Tyler, then it would make sense. But if he's just doing what's par for the course in the industry, then I don't think that that's a net negative. And given all of the other positives, then that doesn't sound like something that should detract from your willingness to support.
Yeah. Wait, you can you can talk about like so like Prime. You can very much talk about Tyler Perry and the way he treats his workers and underpaying black people in a conversation about Hollywood not doing this, if all the other Hollywood people
I can talk about it whenever I want.
Right?
It's when I'm pretty sure I can talk about it whenever I want.
Your show. But it's like you have to be aware that like in a context when we're talking about whether or not we should support black filmmakers, and you say, well, he does all these negative capitalist things, it makes it seem like you're saying that like the only black filmmakers we can ever like champion have to be perfect.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
Right?
So I know you didn't. I didn't say it.
Wait, I know you didn't say it.
And it doesn't sound like I said that.
In the context, that's not what I said. It totally does.
It doesn't.
In the context the conversation is literally about like, should we platform this guy? Like, should he be one of the people that represent like black filmmakers, right?
No.
And then when you say,
I asked really one question.
He treats all his workers really bad, right? It seems like you're saying, because he doesn't treat his workers really bad,
I can repeat the question. So I agree with the question. Should black people support black artists regardless of the quality of their work? That was the question. Right? Right there, that was the question. Should we talking about black artists? And the thing is, it's funny because what inspired this was not actually Tyler Perry. It was another artist. I was just going to bring them up, but we hadn't even gotten a chance to do that because Tyler Perry is Tyler fucking Perry, and he inspires this kind of controversy. But let's try it again.
Starts with the K. I'm about to go off.
Boy. No. So let's go to it's a different person. Let's go to Katarana. And we'd love to hear from you. No,
I cannot hear you.
No,
Still can't hear you.
No,
like a mute
No,
on the
tell
mic
her.
itself,
Yeah, your mic itself is what's muted, not Discord.
Yeah.
Or either Discord doesn't have.
Switch the phone. She's gonna switch your phone. But while we wait and bet him, Jesus, go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, wait. Who was first?
No, you go for now.
Yeah. So to me, it's weird, right? Because we can, and I think it's actually very healthy to acknowledge the fact that representation is good, right? But propping up individuals and like giving especially unearned amount of praises to individuals.
Dude, I'm having like the worst audio.
Praise to we can hear you. We can hear you. We can hear you now. But finish your point.
Especially fucking billionaires of all people. I mean, I'd rather not, mate. I just rather not. I believe that it brings more harm than good to stand for billionaires. I think that this whole idea of you can, on one hand, you can say, I am glad that there are black billionaires in the world, and I'm glad that they exist because it means society is progressing in some way. And I can say that it is a good thing, right? I can acknowledge that fact. Meanwhile, not holding individual black billionaires to any sort of special standard when they're still engaging in actions that honestly degenerate society. So I'm like,
How? It
I
doesn't make sense. If you're not glad that there are billionaires, how can you be glad that some of them are black?
It
shouldn't mean anything.
Wait, you can totally be glad that like there are black billionaires with hating and still hate all the billionaires equally. You can be like, you can say that like billionaires suck, right? And capitalism suck. I don't believe this, but you can say billionaires and capitalism suck. But you can also say, I am glad that black people have finally risen to the level of capitalism where they're allowed to suck too. Like it's totally like
How?
you can say both.
If you're looking at net good, net negative,
Okay,
you
you
could
that is so fucking inconsistent.
Let's let
the rich or be simps. Fuck the rich or be simps.
Let's let Benham respond to that question. Let's let Ben. Shut up. Let's let Benham respond to that question. Then we got to go to Katarana. All right, go ahead.
Okay, here's the thing, right? I believe in power, and I believe that power exists. And I believe that power will be wielded by those that have it, right? And that doesn't mean that I believe that the structure of power is fair. That means, however, that if the power is to be wielded in ways that are less bad than the ways that they were wielded before, I can still support that step in the right direction. For instance, I'm not for monarchies. I'm not for the
so you support Tyler Perry. Thank you. Because he's wielding power better than if he was of a different color, is what you're saying.
Well, in that sense, but that's a very weird way because I
that's your logic.
But in Venom Jesus, in all fairness, man, if you don't know any of the movies, you don't know any of the cultural impact, you don't know the references that he's making, you don't know what the representation is, you don't know any of this information, it just seems so ridiculous for you to have an opinion on this topic that we're talking about that literally has to do with us and nothing to do with you, that you're completely largely
Hey, mate. I mean, if it's a problem if it's a problem that I don't have the cultural framework that you have, I can just not be invited to these panels because I'll never be American. So in this instance, the only thing that I can argue for is in the abstract, right? And that's what I'm arguing for in the abstract of a black.
Abstract is not contextualized. Is my only problem. That's all.
So all right,
Then what? Then Fanatic. What other contribution do you think I would bring to this panel when I'm not inserted in the cultural framework of Americans? Since I am the one non-American here.
All right, we're gonna go down the rabbit hole, and I gotta let her in. She hasn't had a chance to talk at all. So Katarana, please.
Hello.
Yes.
I am so happy that I'm on a cellular phone. Okay, hello. I don't think we need to support black artists just because they're black. I cannot tell you how many movies I grew up watching. I was just like, these movies are all dumb as shit. It doesn't explain my experience, and I just find honestly a lot of black creators create things I feel are like kind of harmful to explaining black experience. Like, why are you perpetuating the fact that people can't speak English like in the way that people expect you to? Like, I don't like it. Also, hi, I'm Katarana. I'm late. I was in a meeting, and I'm very tired. But it's nice to be here. So thanks for having me on.
Okay. So Joe, you were going to say something. You're muted.
You're muted.
Do we support billionaires? Yes or no?
No.
Yes.
Then
no.
Can I vote twice? Can I pay bits?
Well, okay, so there's only because here's the thing: there's only two worlds that we can exist in. You're either critical of all billionaires or you simp for billionaires. Those are the only two worlds that exist, right? So you can't you can say like fuck the rich, the billionaires fucking suck. Well, Tyler Perry, I'm really glad this. No, like fuck that inconsistent bullshit. Like that, like. I can't. That's the one thing I can't fly with, which is why I'm not going to be critical of people like Jeff Bezos, Michael Jordan, all the fucking people I follow within the NFL. Because if I'm critical of the rich and say fucking eat the rich, then I'm just a fucking hypocritical piece of shit that actually low key just simps for capitalism. And it's okay to be a capitalism simp. We do it all the time. But at what level do we like let this shit go? That's another side question, right? Because
100%.
like I don't know, man.
Wait,
like,
hold on. I still don't like this idea. Like, we can be glad that black people have become successful and have a seat at the fucking table, while the still
they don't have seats at the table. You're shitting on your dick if you really believe that any of these black billionaires.
Wait. Let's calm down. Let's calm down.
You're literally shitting on your own dick.
Wait, I understand.
You
want to
go back when there were literally like billionaires?
We don't have
billionaires, right?
Hold
like
on,
we
you have to
a black
understand.
billionaire might not be equal to like a white billionaire, right?
You really think that all 7 of our billionaires at the bottom of the billionaire list have any type of power? That's so fucking stupid.
Okay, one at a time. Okay, so hold on. Pyro,
just African is white.
Give it a try.
So like it fucking got real wild real quick. I understand what Joe's saying. Like, we don't have a proper seat at this table, right? Like, this is the high table at a banquet, and we have like the little fool's stool off in the corner, and it's like, yes, there you are. Like, the few that we get, like, we're still not equal at this table. I give you that, but like, yeah, Joe's kind of right. You got to be fucking consistent with your points, because if you're gonna criticize all billionaires for doing billionaire shit, well, then, like, being like, well, Tyler Perry's the one example where, like, yeah, he's good because it represents me. That's
wait,
like, really,
I never said that. Hold on, I said.
No, I know you didn't say that. I'm just saying, like, that's kind of what it sounds like.
Okay.
Like when you're making examples for like certain billionaires.
I'm actually baffled that Joe, of all people, would have this take, considering that you're supposed to be intersectional, right? You're supposed to understand that different structures of powers.
I'm not simping for these billionaires that don't have any type of actual capital in the market. Fuck them.
Who are you directing this towards then? Because no one that has said I am anti-billionaire here has said that Tyler Perry is a societal good. Only that he is.
I'll make that claim. He's a societal good. If you need me to say that, I will.
I mean, you could. I mean, and that's completely fair. Because
well, I'm not. I like again. This is where I'm just maybe there's a way that we can make this very, very clear, right? So I'm gonna try, right? So why is Tyler Perry a net good for the film industry? Okay. He employs black people and gives opportunity, and I think that there are opportunities that people may not have in other spaces. So the idea of him being a like jumping off point for a lot of upcoming content creators to create the type of pure content y'all want, I think that's a net good.
He's extracting money and giving it to minorities.
No, the McDonald's is doing something for black people too. No, that's not the standard. Like, just because you hire black people doesn't make you all good.
That's different. McDonald's is different than Tyler Perry because it's about exclusivity.
Hold the fuck up. This is why we're going. This is why I'm going step by step, because one of the problems that I have when I deal with certain topics like this, especially in the classroom, is that we cannot acknowledge the good of something that somebody might be doing without immediately going to the negative. So let's focus on the good first, and then we can talk about the things that we can be critical about for Tyler Perry.
If the standard for good is just hiring people, then like whoop-de-doop, everybody
so I'm going to say that, and you're going to going into negative connotation. I'm asking, what is Tyler Perry currently doing that is a net good?
I can give you.
I think what Joe's saying is we want more.
They got me on antidepressants for a reason, G. I'm always going to be like this.
But Katarana, are you saying that he's a complete negative and there is no good?
No,
or would you recognize as good? No, but the thing that we're asking you is, what would you recognize that is good? Because if your take is that nothing is good,
I don't put like little wins and say, okay, then I can say that they're doing some good, because everyone's doing some good.
Sure. So put that into existence. What are things that people could argue is a net good for Tyler Perry, for the community at large?
I don't think he does fuck all. Hiring people isn't that special. Whoop-de-doop. I hire people.
Hiring people isn't special.
It's not
You're
enough.
relating it to McDonald's, right? And McDonald's
Okay.
is hiring more white people than minorities. He's hiring almost exclusively black people. So he is extracting money and giving it to minorities almost exclusively. So when you look at him, you can think of him as an actor in government itself. He's doing enough for black people.
God.
He's doing more than some of these Democrats. He's doing more than some Republicans that get elected.
When we're talking about like Hollywood jobs and representation, yeah, like, you know, working at Tyler Perry Studios in Atlanta for a couple years really does boost your chances.
We're talking about
when-
hiring. We're talking about hiring. Like,
does.
it's not important during a global pandemic when we can't even pass $15 minimum wage. Yes, it's important to have more people out there with more money that are minorities.
So then I guess let's zoom in. So then, what are the things that Tyler Perry currently does that are harmful socially and economically, and what could he possibly do to change that might change your opinion on him on that certain issue?
I think he needs to make more socially conscientious movies. I think all of his movies are very irresponsible.
Well, I mean,
Okay, Marvel makes movies that are irresponsible. Fabricate the point.
No, they don't.
Please.
No, they don't. That's a lie. But
fabricate the point. We can make nebulous claims on shit.
It's not nebulous.
We do that
I
all
agree
the
with
time.
her.
But
I agree with her so much on that point. He does
yeah,
more harm in his caricatures than Marvel does. Come on.
There we go.
Yeah,
So
I honestly I cannot stand his movies. I find his movies do a lot of harm. I don't like the idea that like a lot of people. Tyler Perry's for a lot of people the only black director that they know of, and the type of stuff that he makes. I don't want people saying, "So is that you?" And like, unfortunately, he makes movies that are very stereotypical and just perpetuates people's ideas that like, I don't have a dad at home, and like, I think that's super irresponsible.
Okay, so what are some directors that you think are setting a better standard than Tyler Perry?
Do I need to go ahead and have somebody to like counterbalance him to have a problem?
Joe, I love you.
I'm just asking the question. You said there's other.
I don't follow. Like, what are some? I can say I watch a lot of Tarantino, but he also doesn't write very much about the family unit, so it doesn't really help you very much. But I also prefer Tarantino doing Django over anything that Tyler Perry's made. So there we go. Maybe there goes.
Oh man, it's fascinating. Let's go to Pyro. Yeah, let's go Pyro.
Like, I wanted to answer your question, Joe. Like, one of the issues that I think that he has that, and like how we can make it better. Yeah, I will steal man Katarana's point for a minute. Like, yeah, I do think his movies are pretty fucking dog shit, right? And like the first few times they're comedies and they're based off of some of his plays and shit. Fine. But like, holy shit, why do you keep doing it? And the solution I would say is like, if you don't want to make those movies yourself, cool, you have a whole fucking studio where you can slap your name on literally every part of that. Hire other fucking producers and directors and shit who do want to make the more serious movies, and then be like, yo, Tyler Perry Studios presents a Tyler Perry Studios production presents written by insert author name here, and then movie title, right? And then during the credits, just like fucking pad your shit with Tyler Perry. Like, that's a solution I can see working.
But he can only do that because of the movies he's made, to be fair.
So let me kind of like maybe fabricate this a little bit into more like reality where we're at right now, right? So would you say that one of the problems that Tyler Perry has, because he hires so many minority, whether it be writers, directors, even though he directs a lot of his work, writers, for instance, right? You said one of the problems might be is that he needs to bring more people outside of the infrastructure that he created in to help him with producing better works. Is that a fair criticism?
Either bring in more directors from the outside or like tamper with some of the talent he's already got. If the talent he's already got is just producing the same type of quality, then yeah, reach outside and bring more people.
Distribute his money better. Like Prime brought up that he's not
one of the
doing
problems, right? Yeah, because one of the problems, right? We talk about like Tyler Perry is doing a lot of work, right? Being a writer, producer, director, and sometimes actor of your own films is a heavy burden to bear and incredibly difficult. What he
maybe
he
should stop doing all those things. Like, okay, he's not good at very many of them.
I'm just gonna finish the power through this point, right? So Barry Jenkins, right? Barry Jenkins directed Moonlight. However, all of the producers for that film were white. And that was one of the criticisms of that film at large when it first was going into circulation. Where it's like, it's really cool where we can uplift Black stories, but then when you look at the production and behind the scenes stuff, it's just white people over and over. But then when you look at Tyler Perry, when it's like, wow, this is something where it's Black owned, like just Black produced, Black owned, Black written from top to bottom. Obviously, there's exceptions, and we know this with if you look a little bit deeper into the writers that he uses for works. But we can understand that, sometimes if you're looking to produce works that are exceptional, you're going to have to reach into different types of ethnic groups, whether it be or race categorizations, right? Whether it be white, Latinx, what have you. Like, I think that's a moderately decent opinion to have, because you could say that sure, he's hiring a lot of Black writers, he's hiring a lot of a Black production team, but he also has problems with the people that he puts himself around. Well, maybe he should reach out, and that could make his filmography a little bit stronger.
Hatan, if you can respond to that. I know you popped out for a second. If you want, you can respond to that. If not, we can move on to other people. Okay, so sure. Well, so okay, let's try this again, because this Tyler Perry was not actually the person who inspired this topic, right? Tyler Perry is not the person who inspired it. Actually, I saw a picture of Ava DuVernay. I know I'm pronouncing her name wrong.
Ava DuVernay.
Yeah.
When They See Us director.
Yeah. She's directed a few things, right? But her box office has been weak. Like, it's been really weak. So I was wondering. So that's what got me started on this podcast. Like, so should we be supporting this one's only this? I think she's on the other side of this, right? Because I think she's actually a good director. I think I don't think she's perfect. I feel like I feel like she drops the ball in some areas, but I still think that she's a positive force within the community. I want to see her succeed. Right? I want to see this woman succeed. I want to lift her up. I want to see more Black women directors tearing it up. Becoming household names, and tackling really tough projects. Right. So she was what inspired this. Right. And then I just went off on Tyler Perry because I knew it would get this fucking reaction.
Didn't she do Selma and When They See Us? She's absolutely amazing.
She did. She did Middle of Nowhere. I Will Follow.
Why would I want to promote her? She's a capitalist, and if there's problems with the work, why can't I just criticize it?
One of the problems that I think that she ran into is that she was given a big opportunity, but depending on how you argue it, it was a failure. Like, she directed A Wrinkle in Time. She directed A Wrinkle in Time. And that was a clear opportunity for she got that opportunity because of her other work. And the problem is with Hollywood, it's incredibly unforgiving when you have certain failures like that. And again, she was only a director in that, so she although the director has a lot of influence on the floor, there's still things that production and writers might just do that'll fuck you. This is why a lot of times when directors really want to make sure they also are writers for the work. And again, we can talk about how she may have gotten shafted on that. There was very clear criticism there, but
to go to Joe's point, they're with her, she got to the point where we're talking about Tyler Perry is. Right now, there's no really controversy. She just kind of, the movie wasn't up to snuff. We can still support her if we want, based on our own personal opinions on the movie, because there's not that big contention about if they're doing really controversial shit, if they're a fucking shitty producer and whatnot, you take that by how you like the movies and how much you like them. I personally did not like A Wrinkle in Time. I will probably never watch that movie again in my life. But the Selma, I will watch those movies and I will actively promote those movies because I think they're really fucking good and I think she did a good job on them.
Yeah, and I also want to make sure, I'm going to be as incredibly clear as possible, because I think when it comes to A Wrinkle in Time, putting Ava on the pedestal as the one person that was part of the problems of that, it's not really it's not good, right? There were multiple rewrites of the script. There were multiple rewrites of the screenplay in real time. It was very heavily publicized in internal spaces, that it was just a production nightmare. It
Who
barely
profits the
made
most off of it, though?
Disney, because Disney made it.
Okay, so then they
Like,
should be the one that gets blamed the most.
right, but that's not usually how it works. Because like what ends up happening is that you get an opportunity with Disney. They give you, in this case, I would say, an overly ambitious work, considering her body of work is incredibly new. And I think that was a situation where, as much as I think that she could have done good with that, I would have not taken that directorial, that for my like my coming out party. Like working for Disney Studios is a huge honor for any director or producer. And I don't know, like, but again, like she still got that check, so all the power to her. But I feel like that's the one situation where she was kind of doomed from the start. And will that fuck with her trajectory? Maybe.
Joe, but this is what I'm saying, right? Like, I think maybe I'm misinterpreting what you're saying. But I think you and I are aligned with this, right? And wanting to support a director like her, right? That she is quality. You can see the talent there, right? That there's a lot to work with here, and I'm excited to see what she does next, right? I really want to see. In fact, I know what she's doing next. She's doing not the Eternals. Sorry, what?
She's doing White Tiger.
No. Well, maybe that's coming out next, but she's for DC. She's doing another one. The New Gods. That's what she's doing. The New Gods.
She's doing New Gods. She's also rumored to be working on the Ironheart series. Yeah. It's not confirmed yet.
Okay, but my point is,
her hat's in the ring.
My point is, right, that's talent, right? And so, on the other side, like, I'm looking at a movie like A Wrinkle of Time, right? Which I haven't actually seen yet, so I can't criticize it. I want to see it, I really actually do want to see it. But a woman who I believe has talent, like, now in that case, right, like, this is a woman who I think has talent, right, who I don't think is perfect, like, unlike what Fanatic and Gambit were trying to tell me, right? I don't think this woman is perfect, but I want to see her grow, right? So would have been better if I did run out and see A Wrinkle of Time when it happened, like, hey, that's a black director. That one's got a lot of potential. Let me put a little bit money in that box office, right, to raise her up, so that hopefully she gets that next job, right? Hopefully she does another project that blows the world out of the water. I'm hoping New Gods is amazing, right? Now, should I have done that for her, right? And then contrasting it to Tyler Perry, who was problematic for a whole list of issues, right? Like, do I have to support that motherfucker as well, right? Well, I'm supporting Ava DuVernay. I'm supporting her because I think she's an African-American artist with potential, right? But does that also mean, like, on the other side, I have to support this asshole Tyler Perry while the shit that he gets up to? Does that make sense, Joe?
Yeah, no, I'm with that, and that's one of the things that I'm really excited to see, that we are seeing this new wave of black directors, black producers, and black writers. Like, one of the things that Tyler Perry showed is that if you are a black director or black producer, it should be a priority to make sure, and this is true for all racial categorizations, like, you want to have control over your work. Like, this is why, if we look at Ryan Coogler, he's the writer and director of Creed, Black Panther. He wrote Space Jam and produced it, because why not? It shows that being a producer and being producer plus writer, or writer plus X or Y, is incredibly powerful to make sure that your intellectual property and what you want is controlled. Like, again, no different than Black Panther 2, where he's the writer and director for that. No different than Fruitvale Station, where he was the writer and director. Like, it shows incredible power. The problem is, and Ava found this out the hard way, the minute that she went away from being the full slate of writer, director, producer, then it's like, okay, I can only be a director in this capacity. I am fucked if this shit is bad. Because a lot of times people just will just throw the director under the bus, but meanwhile the producers are still getting the work, still getting the checks, still getting the other opportunities.
I agree. Yeah. I agree with that part.
I'd say I see it as, like, right, got an individual, and this individual is hiring, like, black people exclusively, and it just keeps going, almost like a pyramid. And those people are then, when they acquire enough money, they're working with black people, and it keeps working down. And the majority of the money that they're getting is from white individuals, right? Eventually, there will be, and there are already, some of those black individuals, actors, actresses that are helped, that you can support them. And then all together, it's a network where you don't have to work against each other, where you're Ava DuVernay could also be supportive of Tyler Perry, even though maybe they don't watch each other's works. And then the people they hire could be hired by each other, and it creates a network.
Tyler Perry is not the source of all the good things that happen in the black community or black cinema, right? Like, this is my problem. He's not the font, right? Like, he isn't like the crucial point, the nexus of it all, that we have to support, or we're letting the black community down. No, we can say this motherfucker, right? Look, he's got support. He has an audience. He certainly has an audience, right? That's put him where he's at, right? And they love what he's doing. That's okay, right? Like, I'm not even for instance criticizing them for watching this, right? I think it's hot garbage, but like that's their business, not my business, right? But on the other side, that doesn't mean that that anyone is like that leveling fair criticism, and only fair criticism, because I don't want to criticize Tyler Perry for something that he didn't do, or that is nitpicky or anything like that. I want to criticize them for on fair topics, right? Like, if you're giving fair criticism, I think that's absolutely okay. We are not taking away from the black community, and I feel like our criticisms then fall flat, right? If we have to like prop up Tyler Perry and pretend he's any less garbage than he actually is, right? Then we have another guy like Ryan Coogler and the guy who did the other big one right now. You know, who's the other big black director right now? Jordan Peele. Yeah, Jordan Peele, right? Like when we talk about like these people who have talent, Ava DuVernay, people who have talent, right? Like, it falls flat. Then you can't take people seriously if you're like holding up someone who's absolute garbage. That's my only point here.
Right, and
I think like you're right. If we're going to be talking about bringing in like, you know, supporting other actors, because up until this point I'm like, okay, it's Tyler Perry. We're talking about Tyler Perry, but now we're talking about like, yo, what if we just use that support somewhere else? Fuck yeah. If you don't like Tyler Perry as a producer and the shit he puts out, take all of your money, all of your attention, put it to someone like Jordan Peele, or fuck, you just mentioned her name.
Ava DuVernay.
Yeah, like put it towards other black directors and shit, and be like, yo, we will continuously give you money so you can get to the level of Tyler Perry, cause fuck that nigga. Like, that's not hard to do.
It's about network building. It's like you can support Ava DuVernay. You can support all the projects you like within that she creates until you don't like her anymore.
Tyler Perry's at the level right now where those people will work with him because he is the name.
Wait. But what you forgetting, Pyro, that if Ava becomes famous and becomes a billionaire, she's instantly now bad and should be thrown away. Right? You gotta remember that, right? Like, if she does actually become economically successful, somehow all of her values are now gone and she's not evil.
Don't worry, we can tax her. We can tax her. It'll be good. We'll all right.
We live in a capitalist. We live in this capitalist paradigm, so we should work within it. And if it means that if you want minorities to do better, then yes, you need more minority millionaires.
That doesn't make sense.
I'll say, listen.
We shouldn't try to gain economic power,
because I do understand it, right? Wiggle's right. We do live in a capitalist system, and while I don't think you need to hit every fucking horrible thing you could do before you get to the top, like, you're gonna scratch a few things. You're gonna scratch a few of them on the way up. Like, let's not criticize them for scratching a few. Now, if they go out of their way to every single time just be like the shittiest capitalist movie producer they can be, yo, what the fuck? But like, if they made a few mistakes along the way, I'm not really gonna criticize them. Tyler Perry's a different story.
Well, right. But Pyro, you're acknowledging that something's got to give at a certain point, right? Like, even for Jordan Peele, as much as people want to like really praise for what he does, like Candyman was a fucking dud.
Yeah,
and that was a dud that he produced and wrote. So,
well, my problem is.
But also, just to be clear about that, and then I'll shut the fuck up. Like, horror movies in the modern. The modern zeitgeist of 2000 now, they're incredibly hard to produce, they're incredibly hard to write, and they're incredibly hard to act in. So, like, people are like, oh my god, Jordan Peele's the future of horror films. Like, no, he could easily make 5 duds and get yeeted out of existence, because that space is very hard to make consistent successes in. Like, even as much as people were talking about like Us, people thought that Us, relatively speaking, from Get Out from 2017 to
it was worse.
Us,
it was worse.
And then you have Candyman, and then it's like,
no, it wasn't. Us. No, it wasn't. Us was one of the best movies that was ever made by Jordan Peele. You guys should go watch it. Watch Get Out first, or maybe watch that one and watch Get Out.
Watch Get Out after.
I watched Get Out before I went to the theaters to watch Us.
You think Us is better than Get Out?
Listen,
No,
I
like-
think both of those movies are like 15 out of 10, and everyone should watch them, particularly Caucasian.
Yeah,
like
It's
again,
worth
like
giving all of
another
your
problem
money.
is that like again, this is just my film take, is that once you have too many cooks in the kitchen, it gets very, very hard to make sure that your IP stays the way that it is. And this is something that I think Tyler Perry recognized. However, the problem is something with his brain is really making sure that these IPs suck. So I mean, and you can
No,
have
they
a
don't.
and
They're
you- and you-
amazing.
and-
They're always great. They're always great. Everyone should go watch
like,
them.
it's no different than I just finished watching God, I just finished watching A Teacher, and that's not for me. It's not for me. Well, and there's
But it would be for
I
most
think a
people.
lot-
Everyone should go watch it.
Teacher.
So let's.
I don't know about that, but anyway.
All right, so let's move on. I think we've hit this one.
You said that first.
Yeah.
my only clo-
Go
my
ahead.
I'm glad
only
all of you guys
closing
agreed
is
with
I
me,
make the
Gambit,
closer?
and Fanatic.
yeah. My only closing is that we argue that we want representation. This guy's an embodiment of somebody who went through sexual abuse, child abuse, and all of these other things. And he's a representative of this demographic that shows people that, hey, no matter where you start, this is where you can finish. I support Black people, period. I also support Black people who make it through the struggle and become an example that, hey, your life can be better than the sum total of what you've experienced. So I'm always going to be a Tyler Perry fan, even if I hate every film that he produces.
All right. Fair enough. All right.
For my closing, do we all get to give closing statements?
If you want, I wasn't going to, but if you want, you can go ahead.
All right, just quickly, I would say that I totally agree with literally everything that Gambit just said. I think Tyler Perry is a great representation of somebody who's like overcoming the odds and really working really hard to do to make something of himself, but not just to make something of himself and then abandon everybody else. I'm not going to name any of the Black billionaires who have done that, but they are there. But to really give back to the community in a way and to like literally become Negro-centric in such a way that he can elevate so many more Black voices. And I think that's a powerful thing to do. I think anyone that has a gift that's come from a community that's been influenced by our very rich culture and our very rich community should try their best to do so. And I did that with the song called Revolution, which is on the Soundscapes album on Spotify. Listen to it. It's my way of giving back. It's my way of supporting my culture. It has quotes from Martin Luther King. Yeah, I think it's a really powerful song, and I think every Black artist should do things like that.
So like I'll give my closer. Yeah, I think like go ahead, support your Black producers and your Black artists. If you find that they're problematic for you, like direct all of that to it. Like find someone else that you like and direct all of that to them. Like Tyler Perry, he is great for the representation and everything Fanatic and Gambit said. But like Prime and Katarana brought up really good points about how his movies can be a little bit problematic with the going overboard with stereotypes. Again, I mean like 23 movies and an animated special with nothing but like Medea stereotypes and shit. At a certain point, it gets too much. And if you want to turn away from that and direct it towards someone else like Jordan Peele, who like, yeah, they may be shitty, but like they're Black, right? You do that. Go ahead. Like that's okay. Don't stick with problematic people. That's like my thing.
Anyone else who has a closing statement, you can do it right now. Wiggle.
Tyler Perry's in his like late 40s, early 50s or something, right? He's a billionaire. Like he doesn't have to work ever anymore for the rest of his life, for his children's lives, etc. Right? So if this guy, right, we could use his greed, all right, to help Black people because he's specifically helping Black people. Why the fuck not in this capitalist system? Like, if he's so greedy, he wants to keep working and he wants to accrue this wealth from other individuals, from the majority, and give it to give it from white people to minorities. Why the fuck not? Why? That's it.
I gotta give you plenty of reasons why not, but but again, I get none of my reasons were that like people shouldn't like I never said that like the individuals who are watching it and who are enjoying it shouldn't be watching it and enjoying it. I want to make that clear, right? Like if you do, that's fine. I'm just saying like, do we have an obligation? And it was supposed to be a kicking off point, but like you kind of stuck on the one guy. But he inspires is kind of a controversy.
Prime, I got something you're gonna like.
Okay.
just like I support Tyler Perry.
Oh boy.
I also don't always agree with Prime, but I'm subscribed to Prime. So if you listen to this, even if you don't like Prime, because Prime is a nice black guy who's making a space on Twitch, you should support Prime as well. So
also, Venom Jesus, I see you in the corner there. I care about your Brazilian opinions. Please keep talking.
Thank you.
You brought the blanket of misery out. And then you hide in the corner.
Yeah, I'll be sure to only speak about topics I'm completely informed on.
Okay. So we'll move on to the next one. Hopefully,
Fanatic, you
Wait,
muted
hold
to
on.
say.
I did mute. I did. I'm sorry. Yeah, listen. I mean, because there was a slight dig. Look, it's not that you can only talk about the things that you're completely informed about. I'm not telling what you can and can't talk about, but I'm saying that it's probably in your best interest and in the best interest of the panel, so that you're not talking to all of our chagrin, completely uninformed about the things. We actually do. You do the information ahead of time. Actually, familiarize yourself with the work so that you have a well-formed opinion. So you're not just literally. You're not you're not sitting in a room full of all informed people offering a filthy opinion that's completely uninformed.
Here's what I did, right? And here's what I tend to do, especially in regards to like black relations on the US. Just so it's clear for all of the panelists and everyone in chat. I will never understand black relations from an African American perspective, because I am not African American. I am black. In regards to Tyler Perry in specific, I did read on him insofar as I've seen his work, but I never watched any of his movies. So what I did for this conversation was I talked in the abstract. I said things like, I will assume that what Prime's saying is true and argue from that point onwards. In no moment during the conversation I claim to know the facts of the situation. I claim from a moral standpoint, based on the things that you guys are giving me, because here on the All Black panel is where I get most of my input on African American relations, because that's me interacting with actual African Americans sharing their perspectives. So if that is problematic, so whether that's problematic or not, I feel like that is kind of my role here. So I will continue to try to fulfill that role, and that's pretty much all I can say on the matter.
Sure.
Fair enough. Okay. So we'll move on to our next subject. And it is so when I wrote
Coming to America.
It's so funny. I don't feel comfortable talking about it actually as an American. I think we need an English.
The next topic I had Fanatic in mind. So here we go. Topic 2. Recently in Tampa, a black school resource officer was fired for using the N-word. Officer Delvin White's body cam footage showed that during a private phone call, him using a slur, he was accused of violating the school's policy against discriminatory conduct. Do you think that this firing was warranted? Should black people be able to use the N-word within a professional setting? So, oh boy, I definitely, some people here, I really want to hear what they have to say on this one. So we'll start with my man, Venom Jesus. Venom.
What's up? So, that's the second topic, right?
Yeah.
Let me take a look at it. I zoned out.
Okay, we'll come back to you. Just you have it.
Yeah, come back to me.
Yeah, so I know everybody probably understands how I'm going to feel about this. The idea that white people could now make rules firing people for saying nigga is silly. Like, like I say nigga sometimes, and I try not to say it in a professional setting. I don't think it's professional at all. But like as a person who uses nigga like all the time, sometimes at work I say nigga, and the idea that somebody would fire me for it is absolutely crazy to me. And especially call it like it does depend on I actually was reading the article, but I got sidetracked right before this panel, so I don't know the way he used the word nigga, but I assume it was just the regular, like maybe what's up my nigga. If he was like denigrating somebody, that's completely different. But if it actually it's not, but I can defend that too. But yeah, if it was just regular everyday context and then they call it discriminatory policy and they're gonna fire him for it, that's just cringe to me. But I definitely want to hear everybody else's take.
I put the link in chat so you guys can all see. It's not a very long article, so you guys can read it. But yeah, check a look and see what you have to say. Joe Lewis.
Yeah, I mean, Shit happens. Get fucked. That's really all I got about it. Like, if you're a representative of a certain entity, you got to understand that they're eyeing for every possible reason to just get you out of there. So there's maybe some context that I'm missing here. But my stance is this: just like understand your code of conduct from front to back. Understand as a school resource officer, people are gunning for you. So whether it be your camera on a private call, if you're in like a break room for something like that, like they're gonna find a reason. So you got to be aware of stuff like that.
Okay, let's go to Pyro.
Yeah, wow, Joe, you stole the point right up from under me. Yeah, fuck around, find out. This is just an example of like, unfortunately, this is one of like those really small rules and shit that they could have busted him for, and they got him for. When I first started working at my job, I can't name the name. The one thing they told me is like, yo, you can't name our company when you're live, so I'm not going to. And like, two, like there are certain things you have to do, whether you do them on the street, that's cool, but like don't bring it into the workplace because you will get fired. And one of those things was like use of the N-word. Like you can't do that, you know. It's public place and all that shit. Like you're just not allowed to. If these are one of the rules, it sucks that it's a black guy that got fired for it, and that like we have this double standard where the white cops get away with way more.
I'm going to stop you right here. We got, because apparently I've got to get the facts out here before anyone else says anything. Like, here's what the article says, okay? So everyone's on the same page, okay? A body camera video released by the Tampa Police Department shows Delvin White, that's his name, Delvin White driving around what appears to be a parking lot, making small talk with people standing around as he says goodnight. He indicated a game had just ended, so I guess a basketball game or something. As he is leaving, and it's from and from what I'm reading here, it sounds like he is still in the car. As he is leaving, he makes a phone call to a woman to tell her that he doesn't want steak when he gets home, rather a tuna salad sandwich.
Like tuna.
Yeah, that's the problem. When she reminds him that he cannot have bread, he amends his request to tuna salad and gluten-free crackers. So we're going down the whole thing. He then asks the woman why she didn't call him 3 or 4 times like she usually does. And she says because he's usually so busy. At this point, he starts comparing his job to hers, saying it's a higher pressure job. He tells her he is responsible to make sure kids don't get shot and stabbed, and later repeats the statement to say his job is to ensure some ghetto N-word don't get shot or stabbed. So that's what he said to a private individual within a car. Like he was, and from what I understand, he's alone in the car. And he's talking. So that's my understanding of it, according to the article I'm reading. So now you know. You can finish your point, Pyro.
I understood that, but like my thing was like body cam was a part of the job, bro. You weren't careful. Sorry.
All right. Fair enough. All right. Go ahead, Wiggle.
All right, so first we must establish when he said tuna salad and gluten free, did he say the C word with the hard R or not? He said, and then behind that, other than that, I'd say I love cops. I love cops so much that I want to hold them to the highest standard for themselves. And that standard is that if you're on a personal call, right, and you're going to use this language, I think that you shouldn't have that job because I think that's in your best interest because I care about the institution that much that I want to hold you to that high standard for all of us because I bleed for these people. All right. And if you want to be on a call where you're talking about the people that you're supposed to protect, first of all, make sure you're not getting paid to do it off the clock. Second of all, I hope you enjoy that tuna salad, my guy. I hope you enjoy it.
Man, tossed his job over a tuna salad.
Oh man. So I'm gonna save Fanatic for last. So we're gonna go to Adam.
I don't know. I think there's not a lot of information around this. Like, I kind of want to know like how this came to light. Like he used it in the comfortable. Like if he's in his car and like assume the windows down and like no children at the school are hearing him, who fucking cares? Like to get fired for that is like the dumbest shit. Even if he has a body camera on, because like is he not allowed to have a personal conversation with his wife on the phone, like at work about dinner? That seems kind of silly. However, there were some statements where he used it while he was arresting people in the past. which were like seemed like they could be problematic. I don't really like the idea. I got in a really big argument a long time ago about running a Discord about white people telling black people how they can and cannot use the N-word.
Yes.
I got really triggered because it seems really bad when white people are like, "Oh, this makes me uncomfortable, so you can't do it." At the same time, it's a professional setting, and if you're gonna like use this word in a professional setting, it probably shouldn't be there. And getting fired, it really feels like they jumped the gun with him getting fired, like a lot. Like didn't seem like they talked to him about it or anything. Like, oh, he said this word to get fired from the article.
Okay. Let's try Katarana. Katarana, we're on topic 2. We're just doing introductory statements. So let's see. Are you working? Are you there? Or is socialism striking?
I am working, and I am here.
Socialism wins. Okay.
Okay, great. And I'm also literate, so I knew what you were talking about. I don't need all the foreplay. Anyways, how do I feel about can you say the N-word at work? Dude, if they can't say the N-word at work, then I might as well quit right now because I say it every day. Like, I'm not going to let white people tell me what I can and can't say, especially if it's my word. Look, I was literally just in a meeting. I was calling every white person in the meeting a bunch of niggas for taking so long. So, yeah, no, you can't tell me what to say. Sorry, my word.
All right.
Katarina is based.
Now we have the man, the myth, the legend. I've been waiting on his opinion on this one. Fanatic, you're up.
So what I feel like is this is just another form of oppression. So here's what happens on a regular basis. I'm chillnatic today if y'all haven't caught on, okay? This is taking everything out of me to do it. But it's okay because we're going to do it successfully. I promised, and man of my word and my integrity is everything. But I'll tell you, I think it's a form of oppression. When you have power over black people and you can use a word and get a reaction and you know we're going to give that reaction and you have that word and you have that power and you start feeling that power slip out of your fingers because all of a sudden we turn it into a euphemism and then you want to start policing when we can and can't say it. That must be the most laughable thing on the freaking planet. I was sponsored in the FGC, and there was a point in time where my sponsor, one time I called someone the F slur. This was many years ago, and obviously times have changed. And they said, "Hey, you can lose your sponsorship. Our lawyer's been like being contacted and all that." And I apologized, deleted that, never used it again since then publicly. And afterwards, then he came to me and was like, "By the way, you've been using the N-word." And I went clean the hell off. I feel like I recognize what that word meant to me, what it meant to people around me. I remember when there was an entire ride on a bus because someone called someone that. I've seen the reaction that it got out of people, and I didn't like that word having that kind of power. So I think the beauty of us being able to recognize we're not going to let these niggas have this power anymore. We're going to take it back. And then you want to restrict that from us and be like, "No, you can't say this word. No, it offends me." I don't care what freaking offends me. I live in a country that still to this day has slavery on the books. Will be on the 13th the freaking amendment. And you want to tell me that it offends you that I'm using a word as a euphemism that you used to be able to use that used to be able to use to like constrict me? Are you freaking crazy? I think it's absolutely racist. I know that they did this on purpose. I gotta chill. I know that they did this on purpose. I know that this was their intention. I know that they're looking for every excuse. They hold us to a higher standard on a regular basis. And this is a case of a nigga that got caught in the crossfires. It's absolutely absurd. I know how white people talk amongst themselves. They've decided to colloquialize redneck and make that not a slur anymore. Every person I've spoken to about that recently has told me that that's not a slur, even though we know it used to be. So the fact that they can do that, we should be able to do that too. They shouldn't have fired this nigga. I hope he sues him. It's absolutely ridiculous. Discriminatory has to be an intent, and that wasn't his intent to discriminate, at least from the context that I got from that conversation. Freak out of here.
Okay.
Yes.
Can I just say I'm extremely upset that I came on this panel and you guys told me you're gonna see if I can hang, and then I get fucking chillnatic over here. What the hell? I want the full experience.
Hey, dude, Dolphin, you're calling it in advance, right? The topic just started. That was the opener. I'm gonna say right now. I disagree with.
Chillnatic is a phase. It won't last.
I disagree with chillnatic here, right?
So can we just agree? Like, can we just accept that this is a problem of policy, right? Like, can we just get that?
No, like that's what I was about to say. Like, on a systemic level, this is definitely an issue. And you're right. But like when he took that job and there was that orientation and they told you like, yo, you got to control your language and, you know, there's body cam so you're on record and shit like her, you know, her rum for rum. Like that would be the point where I would be like, what if I'm having a public conversation?
No, that's the point where you call everybody
like
in the room nigga.
You know, private conversation.
I don't think there's like, I still like Venom Jesus. Did he give your opening?
Nope.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You wanted to wait. Go ahead.
So, yeah, I mean, my only take on this is that I am undecided on this, but I do slightly side more with Fanatic's take on it, in the sense that I do think, if anything else, it seems like a massive overreaction, right? Based on the context of how it happened. Like, I think it's very hard for you to make the claim that what he said was said so in a hateful context, and I believe that the very reason why the N-word is admonished on most situations is because it's hateful inherently, and I don't think that was the case for him. Though I do understand that saying ghetto N-word can have some like strange connotations, probably. So I mean, I don't know. It just feels like an overreaction. I can see why he would be punished, if anything else, for breaching etiquette, which I think is important for any job. I think breaching etiquette is like something that can be punished, and he certainly did that. But I don't know if like hateful conduct is how I would classify it. I think hateful conduct is
Venom,
what would merit.
I think
this is his opening. Hold on. This is his opening. Let him finish. This is opening. That's why I stopped.
No, I'm done. It's fine.
Okay, yeah. So okay,
Adam, right? He didn't give you.
But like,
I went. I'm good.
Oh,
yeah, like the idea that they can add nigga to etiquette is stupid. Like they should have been in the room like, nigga, you crazy. Like you can't just say nigga's etiquette just because there are some white people that feel uncomfortable for some dumbass reason because they wear the president.
I just gotta ask, because like it's gonna come up eventually. Is that nigga gonna be for everybody or just black people? Because
this is the right. You know that's gonna be a thing. Right take, wrong job. All right. This is this is.
I have a clarification point. Right? Was it part of etiquette, like a part of his training, and they said, "Hey, welcome to the job. Don't say nigga," or like, did he find out on the day that he got fired?
It's listed explicitly in a vast majority of districts' code of conduct. Where if you are,
okay, but was it for his, and was he taught about it? Because like just because it's code of conduct doesn't mean
it's childish to think that a resource officer that he wasn't given that orientation. He knew.
Wait, Joe. Are you saying that it's etiquette for schools or for police departments? Because those are two different things.
When you're a school resource officer, you are not a police officer.
Yeah.
Are you not? I don't know. Our school resources officer was a police officer.
He was.
So I don't know.
Police officer.
What class was he? Was he in class 1, 2, or 3? Because class 3 is retired. Most resource officers are class 3, which means they are retired. They have the ability to carry a firearm on school grounds, but they do not have the.
So I'm going to correct you right now. Hold on. Wait. I'm going to offer the correction. Right. He was a Florida police officer. He was working as.
He had a different job as a police officer.
That's incredibly.
My resource officer like pulled me over on the highway one day. He was like,
listen. If you're in a small city, your resource officer can also have a job as a policeman, but that doesn't mean while he's working as a resource officer, he is a policeman. You see what we're saying? Like you can have two jobs.
Because one thing I want to make very clear here, because again, like I'm in a school district, so I can give a bit more like clarification on certain things. When you're a police officer, like so now I know he's a class 1, and they might call it, depending on the state, it's a class 1 or class 2. So he's an active police officer in a school using school capacity. Unfortunately for those officers, they have to adhere to the school code of conduct while they are working. And what's considered working grounds is usually from the extent of like what my district calls the sidewalk to the front door and all of in between. So one of the reasons why he got was because he was driving around, still active on duty, and then they caught him using the N-word on a body cam. Now, the protocol as a police officer would be totally different, but the school has every right, if they think it's discriminatory, to let him go. Is that fair? Absolutely not. But unfortunately,
it wasn't the school that let him go. I don't think it was the Tampa Police Department.
Okay.
I'm saying
Really?
like I don't want more black police officers. I want less police officers, right? I'm gonna hold them to the highest standard possible, and if they break that standard, so be it. Like if he's on a personal call, right? And in his personal call, he's referring to the people he's supposed to be working for as some ghetto N-word, don't get shot or stabbed.
What's
That's
wrong
what I'm
with that,
doing.
though?
I'm making sure. What's wrong with that? Wrong with that is that he's a police officer.
Well,
Stop
no,
thinking
like-
of him as the same as you or I. He's on the clock.
No. But this is
right?
what you got to understand. Just like some people say the word dude, the word nigga is like a replacement. So
I can see that.
ghetto dude, ghetto whatever, ghetto nigga to him is the same.
Well,
That doesn't mean that there's
Right,
malice.
But then the
That's just to
question
the person,
is,
I was
All
gonna
right,
say,
so
like,
let's
I mean,
think about this. So some ghetto people don't get shot or stabbed. All right, does that sound does that sound great? Does that sound like somebody who wants to be your police
I don't
officer?
even think
That's
it
probably
matters,
his
right?
job,
Like,
though.
I don't think it matters.
Yeah,
He
so-
could use
so-
it as like buddy or pal or whatever have you. Like if he goes to work for a place that's like, yo, you can do that in public, and like as long as you're not like on the body cam and like on the job and like adhering to.
No,
the
but
codes
why would you
take.
cede that ground? Why would you cede that ground? What makes you readily accept that policy? That's what I'm trying to understand. I understand that you're saying
whatever forms precedent, so that you can make it so that if you want to be a police officer in this district, you have to be upheld by a higher standard. And if these
But
are
that's
like
not really a higher standard. That's just a way to discriminate against black people.
if so, is that how you see it? Isn't what
Yes,
he's doing the same?
100%.
So what he's doing the same?
Like I never got an answer to my question. Right? Is the N
What
word
was it?
just for the black people, or is it for the white people too? Because like I see a situation where like a white dude says the N word,
Wait. I
get
wanna say,
offended,
like-
and then they call for him being fired.
Like, I want to hone in on this though. Is that
Fanatic, you don't
what is
mute.
the Democrat? What is the demographics of the school that he's at? Where he's going like, so at my job, I'm trying to ensure that some ghetto, whatever you want to think the word is, don't get shot or stabbed. All right. So it's like, yes.
Let's go to Katarana. Hold on, let's go to Katarana, and then we'll go to Benham.
Yeah, so just like looking into the situation, like even if he was like saying things in like a nice context, specifically like because he was referring to the kids, like teachers talk shit about kids all the time. So like I bet your ass you go in the teacher's lounge, they're talking mad shit about you at all times of the day. So like if he's in the car just like talking to his wife, like I don't understand like why that's suddenly gonna be like a reason to go ahead and fire, because I'm pretty sure he's like, yo, I have to take care of these awful bitches every day. They'd be like, oh, it's okay, he said bitch, but you know, we want to make sure that we're not being racist, even though we're Tampa and we're known for being racist. Haha, lynching. So like, yeah, sorry, I'm not like there's no reason for this person. Like he didn't walk up to the kids and say y'all a bunch of ghetto niggas. Like he's in a car.
I would have been
So-
even cool with that.
We need more teachers. We don't need more cops.
Hey, hold on.
I gotta say, with that teacher
No, this is to you. This is to you. Somebody in the chat
Sorry,
is
who's you?
beautiful. To Pyro.
Pyro.
Chat is beautiful today. You were asking about the demographic stuff. People are like, I wonder what the demographics for the policymakers
Wiggle.
were.
That was Wiggle asking about the
Wiggle.
demographics.
Yeah. Somebody said, what were the demographics for the policymakers? That's probably important too. Like,
can I respond real quick?
Go ahead, respond, but and that's that. We gotta go to Benham. He's waiting.
Okay, but like that the comparison to teachers talking shit about students in like their break room and shit isn't compared, because like the dude was caught on camera. If the teachers are talking mad horrible shit about their students in break room, that's fine, as long as a kid doesn't sneak up and record them and then like that footage gets out, because then they're in trouble.
Yeah, is body camera footage
clear?
Was the
Just
footage
to
put
be-
online first and then he got fired, or
It's a
like
part-
were they going
like,
through
the body cam's a
footage?
part of his job, so like unless there's evidence
There's
to like go
cameras in the
against
break
it,
room,
I
too.
assume the police
No,
department
so there's
school fucking reported it.
school misinformation. I gotta squash the bug.
Hold on,
Teachers
Joe,
in
I
the
gotta-
vast majority of school codes of conduct, you're not allowed to talk about your students, whether it be in private conversations or public conversations. If
No,
you're
but they do it
talking
in-
about a student
Joe.
and you're found to be talking about a student in a negative way, that will get you fired.
No, Joe, I just want to add context. So apparently the policymakers were a bunch of inclusive white liberals.
Okay,
So-
great. Let's go to Benham Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like in some ways we are like talking a little past each other in the sense that I think that there are like two things here being discussed, right? Whether or not he's being fired because his conduct was hateful, or whether or not he's fired because the word itself is like unacceptable and he should be fired for using it, right? So like I'm just wondering like where you stand, like if it was demonstrated like it's impossible, but if it was demonstrated that he used the word in a non-hateful context, would it then be okay, or is it the fact that he mentioned people as like ghetto N words and that's what makes it unacceptable?
Yeah, I think either way.
Discriminatory conduct. It didn't say because he was talking poorly about students. It said discriminatory, and you know, the second they put discriminatory, it's because he said nigga.
Yeah.
So
that's where I stand on it. Like
ghetto N-words, right?
So I'm going to try to jump into this.
Was the kind of
so yeah. I want to jump on this. So one, I think Pyro hit the nail on the head, right? Like, okay, so what if this was a white officer who said that the exact same situation that we described, right? In the car with his wife, right? No one else around. Private conversation happens to be caught on body cam, right? I don't think anyone here will be defending him. Not a single person will be defending him, right? And then, hold on, please let me finish. Let me finish, right? I've been quiet the entire time.
I want to hear Fanatic try to be chill with this response.
No, let him out of the cage. I want to see it.
And then on the other side of that, like, let's not pretend that black people can't be racist to other black people. That's why we have the character Uncle Ruckus, right? That's the thing, right? So yes, like you can say ghetto N-words. Like that came out of the mouth of Candace Owens. Like when we say, oh, she's just one of us, right? She's a part of the community. No, I'm sorry. Like we can recognize that some people have even within the black community, can be vicious against, and so black people can be more vicious than some white individuals, right? To the black community, to what they perceive as a proper way and improper way to be black, right? So when he says those ghetto N-words, right? Yes, you can draw an inference. Now, does that necessarily mean? Just those words doesn't necessarily mean that he was doing that he was trying to be discriminatory, that he does have all those beliefs. No, I can't tell. I can't tell from just one fucking phrase, like pulled completely out of context, that this is the guy. Like I don't know this guy. I know nothing about him beyond what was in that article, right? So I'm not going to draw those inferences, right? And in fact, I'm actually more willing to give him the benefit of the doubt. However, right? I think again, I got to back Pyro here, right? That he was on the job. He was on the job. He does know he has a body camera on, right? And he got caught. So
he fucked. I mean, so this kind of goes back to what I said in my like opening statement. It's like my thing is like, had he not said the N-word, right? So let's say he said, instead of these ghetto niggas, let's say he said, I don't think that. Let's say he said these like stupid fucking kids like be getting on my nerves. I got to make sure they don't get shot, right? So he said something like that. In his car talking to his wife, are they still gonna jump to like firing him? Like it doesn't seem like there was like there was talk. I read a few articles on this and there's like no information. It's impossible to find a lot of things. But like, was he like constantly a problem? Was he like or was it just like there was this one instance plus one instance in the past he kind of came up with later, and like it seems like there should be more steps than like, oh, like you said this to your wife in the car, get the fuck out.
No, it was.
And it seems like
that's an initial problem with like the rules themselves, and I think Joe said that earlier. But like the problem is like he said it, and we can hem and haw at it, but like. Looking at this from like the outside world view, like when you say, yo, like I gotta stop them ghetto ass kids from being shot, it can look like you're just like, yo, I gotta stop these fucking black motherfuckers from killing each other.
So look to you, Adam, cops never get fired that easily. Unfortunately, they never get fucking fired that easily, right?
Until
to get rid of them. So I wanna go to Fanatic. He's been waiting quite patiently. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So
how's that ceiling doing, Fanatic?
I didn't interrupt Brian because I knew Fanatic was going to have to try to do this.
Yeah, I know. I'm chilling. I'm telling you, I'm chilling. So it's like, I think it's absurd to make this comparison between these two people. Like, listen, like, just because we have, I think it's fair, it's reasonable for to be able to say that, considering the harm and the way that harm was directed, that certain people, it's up to them to decide how they heal, right? And part of making the N-word a euphemism is part of our healing process. So then you can't then abstract that and say, well, if this is part of your healing process, then white people get to partake in it too, because we get to make that decision. Just like kind of like at a funeral.
I didn't say
or like if I know you didn't say that, but it's like, say someone passes, I get to decide when I'm ready to talk about the person that passed close to me. My friends don't get to do that. And if I mention, and if I say I'm really not ready to talk about it, like they should be respectful of that. So this idea of like, well, if it was a white person, we wouldn't care. Like that doesn't matter, because it's not a white person, and it's a black person who colloquially can use this phrase without being offensive. And that's what we're talking about. Like, why move the conversation?
Okay, what about my second point then? What about my second point?
The rule that you're talking about changing, which is ridiculous, the rule is niggas can say it and white people can't.
Yes. I'm not comfortable with separate, like starting.
That's what you're separate a little bit, but equal in bigger picture.
So hold on.
That's
I'm not comfortable.
I don't think you. I just want to get Fanatic's response to my second point. Then I would love to hear what everyone else has to say. Right. My second point about the N-word. Black people possibly using the N-word in a discriminatory fashion, because there are black people who do that.
Cool with it.
Damn.
So like,
I'm cool.
Could
with
he
it.
not? Could they have actually stumbled upon one of these people saying that, like, you could have a black officer, right? In fact, this is the criticism of officers, right? That like they're part of the system, they're upholding the system of discrimination, right? That they are being part of this justice system that continuously denigrates and commits violence on black bodies, right? That they're part of all of this. That you see them during one of those incidences, right? When some black guy gets shot or some black woman gets her ass beat in front of her fucking 5-year-old, right? You see them standing there, not do a fucking thing, right? Because they're part of the system. And so it's not impossible. This guy saying ghetto N-words referring to those kids is just saying what he actually believes, right? That no, he doesn't like these kids, right? And maybe he does commit more violence against them than he has to. That's a possibility. If we had heard that from a white officer, we would immediately jump to that conclusion. It's like, well, this is what he's doing.
Yes,
that's exactly what he's doing, right? So it's a possibility. The possibility does exist that this guy is just like that, right? Fanatic.
You're literally actually trying to just piss me off.
Wait. We gotta give this guy.
I'm trying to be honest with you.
We don't have any.
I'm saying he wanted to hear Fanatic.
Ask me a question directly.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
What was your question? That was a lot of talking. What was the question, Prime? I'm sorry.
I'll include the answer in the response. Mm-hmm. Right? So the reason why we would, it is absolutely possible that the guy intended to use the N-word in a negative way. But the reason why we would probably assume that he's not using it in a negative way or in that specific way is because of the idea of shared oppression. Right? The reason why we've actually created a distinction between who can use the N-word and who can't is because of that shared oppression, which comes with it an implied assumption of intent, right? So it's like how sometimes you have colloquialisms that mean specific things within your circle or within your family, right? So like maybe I might call my little nephew Big Head, and it's fine. And my nephew might recognize me, the endearing, loving uncle that I am, makes great music on Spotify. He might look at me and say, when I say that word, he assumes that I'm meaning it in a positive way. Now, if some random kid, some little snot-nosed kid in the campus, like at his elementary school, calls him Big Head, he's not going to automatically have that assumption, right? So that implication, that assumption that we have, it's something that we just naturally grant. Now, it doesn't mean 100% of the time it's correct, but that's typically the basis and the assumption with which we typically use it. You don't assume when someone's calling you the N-word that shares your oppression, that happens to be black, you don't assume that they're meaning the way white people used it back when they were using it to oppress us. My heart's starting to hurt. This is too much pressure. I can't.
I also want to add that I still don't think, even if someone like Candace Parker was using the N-word, that we should empower white people to be able to oppress them, even if they're using it in a negative way. I don't care whatsoever. If black people are using the N-word in whatever way they want, I'm cool with it.
Okay, let's go to Katarana, Wiggle, and then Pyro.
What is the question?
the question, sure, I'll repeat it for you. The question that I just asked Fanatic, was whether if there could be African Americans, right, who have discriminatory beliefs just like white people, right? And look, the answer is yes, right? I'll just answer the question for you. The answer is yes. There are white people, or sorry, black people who have discriminatory
okay.
behavior.
So I'll just kick back. You already answered it. I'm chill.
Okay, sure. But I mean,
No,
that
but
was
like,
that was the
no,
Fanatic.
no,
Again,
but like, what
that was the
uniform
question to
you
Fanatic.
want behind, but except. Okay. It was okay just for him.
Okay,
No.
You can talk about it if you want, but like,
yeah. Katarana, what he's saying is that us three, me, you, and Fanatic, said that black people should be able to.
Are you mansplaining?
But he's saying that we said it's okay for black people to use the N-word. So what he's asking is, if black people use it in a derogatory way, is that okay? To me, yes, absolutely, every time.
Man, it's your word.
I hard disagree with that, but
go ahead.
I don't like it. Yeah, I think that one of the big parts about like reclaiming language like this, like the N-word, like if you're gonna say nigga, reclaiming it has to be in a positive way. And the reason is, I just think, and like the thing is, I'm not gonna go police how other black people say the N-word, because my opinion is not more valid than
you're arguing for it.
But personally, I think that using the N-word in a negative way reinforces the negative kind of like connotations or the schemas around like the N-word. And like if we're going to like try to reclaim this word, it should be in a positive way.
Let's go to Wiggle, and then Pyro. And then Katarana, back to Katarana after that.
I would nitpick on one part is like when you say you have to, and then say you're not going to police, that kind of goes against it. But other than that, it'd be like, I just think about it as like the difference in this scenario overall is like, this is a police officer. And if you subscribe to the belief that the system, like
we get it. You hate cops, dude.
Yes, and I will keep saying it because it is my turn to speak, and I dislike cops, and I will say it over and over again. And I'll say, if we believe that the institution of the police is hurting minorities, and if you take part in this, you're going to hurt minorities disproportionately, I don't care if you're black, Asian, nothing, right? I want there to be less police. We compare to teachers or compared to yourself or an artist, it's not the same, right? I want it to be harder for you to be a police officer, and I want police officers to have higher standards than most people in most occupations. I will not give you the benefit of the doubt, because why should I? Do I need you?
So Wiggle, so what you're really saying is that you'd rather have closet racist white cops, and then the black people who use nigga all the time make a mistake and use nigga.
What you're saying is that you'd rather have cops as long as they're all black, and that will reduce the problems we have.
That's such an asshat take. I never even. There's nothing that I've said that can imply that. No,
okay.
There's absolutely nothing.
Okay, so then
can you try to substantiate it?
Substantiate what? You're saying the comment about the white liberals making the laws against who can be a cop and whatnot?
No. Fine. You made the claim that I want an all black police force, and there's
why? So in this stance, right?
No,
why
I just
don't
want
this police officer.
I don't want.
If you were against police officers,
I'm not against police officers first, but I don't want black people to be discriminated against with a word that was traditionally used to discriminate them by inclusive white liberals. That's what I agree with
you, as long as they're not police officers.
But that's where we disagree. No, we don't agree. We disagree. Actually.
Okay. All right. So here, inconsistent. No, let's look at this. Let's look at this. Right. If you are a black individual, right, and you're choosing to become a police officer, then right, you're going to be tokenized. Right.
But that doesn't mean that you can just change. That doesn't mean that you can change your entire.
What are you doing?
No. Listen.
Police officer.
No, Wiggle. Listen. First off, you're equating this thing like black people that say nigga are bad, and it's so stupid.
How?
It's hard
I never said. I never said that. I agree with your statements.
No. Did you? Is police saying nigga bad to you?
As long as that removes them from being police officers, yes. Yes.
Okay. I can't even. I don't even know how to
We're-
engage
holy
with this.
fuck.
He's
Holy
just
fuck.
saying that like anyone and anybody and anyone who's a police officer just needs the entire book thrown at them because we need to get rid
Thank
of
you.
many
Yeah, that's what I'm
Thank
saying.
you.
He's on a different
Which
point.
Yeah, but it's
So-
impossible to engage with something that's that like.
How is that impossible to
So
gauge?
let me, yeah. So,
It's
so why don't,
like,
so okay.
oh
we're-
god,
It's
we are basically like I can see Pluto from where we're at in this conversation. So there's something a fanatic alluded to that I kind of want to center a bit more so that people can kind of understand.
you're
this,
quiet.
right?
You're all of a sudden real quiet. I'm not sure. What...
Okay, I'm all of a sudden real quiet. How's that?
Chill
Yeah,
Joe.
much better.
Okay, so what Fanatic is talking about and what law enforcement officers understand is that there is a certain culture within a community that they are choosing to protect. There are certain types of terminology, certain types of just mutual language that is mutually accepted upon in that community. So, with that being said, things like nigga, guap, guinea, wasp, those are going to be some words that are going to be acceptable within those communities. With that being said, however, there is an understanding that there is a line that can be crossed where you could jeopardize the trust that you're trying to build within that community. I think that is where the department was getting at. Now we can get into the sort of meta conversation about black people using the word nigga when they're at the job, but at the end of the day, the police department made a decision to let him go because of this. One thing that I'm sure Adam agrees with is that it seems very bizarre for him to lose his job based on something that on its face seems very sort of non-consequential, considering the fact that in other situations, officers are put to levels of passivity. Passivity, I don't know what the fucking word is. Just a level of passiveness that comes with violations that they're able to just like spit in the face of a perp, rub a lemon in a shot wound, and still be able to keep their job. So something else might be going on there. Will we ever know? Probably not. But to be fair, they are doing an internal investigation. We'll see what happens with that. Maybe he'll get his job because of that.
Okay, so finish your point, and then we got to go to Pyro. Who's waiting.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Okay, we'll go to Pyro, and then we'll go to Katarana. I'm not sure if you put your hand up, Venom, but if you so, we'll go to you afterwards. Pyro, Katarana.
Okay, so yeah, again, fucking Joe Lewis stealing my points. Gonna have to do something about that. Yeah, it's kind of it. Like he said, and that's the word we're reclaiming, right? Like, I do get it. It's been used against us forever. It still is in some parts of the country. Like he said it on camera at his job. We're like, bro, you really probably shouldn't. He's a police officer. You really shouldn't. And like he brought up the other words, right? Like wop, day, like that type. Had he said like these ghetto wops and shit, like, and they fired him, I'd probably feel the same way. Like, you probably didn't mean it in the sense that like it's offensive or derogatory, but like, dude, you not only did you violate the guidelines, but you got as close to the fucking guidelines as you could. Everyone has like that word that like we can use it, but you can't. And like if anyone said one of those words, fuck man, you did the thing.
So this is the problem that I have. I want to make sure I'm making this clear. As a person that grew up in like a black community that we use nigga all the time, the thought of a policy that then says, hey, don't use nigga, and I'm supposed to be able to morph and just not have all of the like natural language that I use every day, and just because I put on a blue suit that I should just be able to snap and like dismiss myself from all of that is so silly to me. And the fact that y'all can't see the thought that y'all can't see that this is only being applied, like
that's not fair. That's
It's
not fair.
called
Listen,
having a job, right?
Yeah,
you
like,
have
that's
time
fair.
when you're not at work.
I can help you,
We-
Gambit. Gambit, let me help you. I am a black American in a predominantly Asian area that used to grew up in a predominantly white area. And I was told explicitly when I was getting hired that there's just certain words that are unacceptable in the workplace. That was something that HR representatives went out of their way to tell me. They went out of their way to tell me a lot of things that they were worried about just for me being there and being black in that space.
and you
So
should
I
have said,
totally
nigga, you crazy. That's what you should have said.
I literally told like you want to know what I said? Like literally in one of my work meetings in a school that shall remain nameless, and I ended up working there anyway. There was like certain things, and I looked at my supervisor who was like 5 years younger than me, and I'm like, that's the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard. And he's like, I'm just looking out for you. And I'm like, I can look out for myself. Thanks. And that was the last conversation he and I ever had. Where
no, but you said just 3 words. Nigga, you crazy. That's all you had to say back to him. Like,
wait.
Well, I called the policy fucking retarded. So that was what I said to him back when I was much more edgelord at the time. But like my point here is that I've been in spaces where I've been told where I have to watch what I say, watch what I dress, watch how I handle my hair, just because there's some white people around me. So I sympathize with the idea that you like censoring yourself, censoring who you are and how you express yourself is bullshit. But I also understand, as somebody who is constantly getting gunned for their job, that there's like a fine line that you have to sort of like work in when you're dealing within these predominantly white spaces, especially within law enforcement.
Yeah, but
now, to
but
be fair,
Joe,
I don't know. Yeah, go for it.
But Joe, when you buy into this whole nigga policy, you're buying in all of that. So when white people tell you, hey Joe, you really shouldn't wear your hair like that because that's not professional, just like asshats in the chat. Oh, you can use this professional lens to literally disenfranchise people. And y'all are like buying into it.
White people.
And it's so silly to me. Like,
yeah, I know. I agree with it, but unfortunately, like this is the game. This is what sucks. Like,
no, but you don't have to play the game.
Well, yeah, if I don't play the game, then I won't get a job. That's the problem here. I am one of 6 black people in my entire district, and they handle us with such incredible attention to detail. I was asked questions for my hair when it was too high. I was asked questions about when I wore a caftan. They're gunning, and so like that's the one thing. And I was even warned when I was hired there of like, you got to be careful. And this is a person who's been in the district as an IT guy, and he's telling me with his 30 plus years of experience that I got to be careful in the district that I'm working at. That's really terrifying.
Because we've embraced this nonsense council culture, and now it's showing up at people's job, and now you have to have your hair a certain way. You can't say nigga, and it's gonna just devolve into more and more stuff that only targets black people.
Okay, so
and the fact that y'all are like embracing this is so
wait. We gotta let other people in. Don't worry. We got time. We're gonna stay on this until we're done. All right. Don't worry. We'll get back to all of you. Katarana.
As someone with a lot of different, I don't know, protected identities, there's a lot of slurs for all my different types of protected identities. I'm going back to like, are you allowed to like? Can people use it discriminatorily? So, because you guys went somewhere else for a while, I think as someone with a bunch of protected identities that are typically marginalized, I should have the power to use it in any way I want. Because if people are able to call me a retard, then I should be able to call myself a retard and negatively. It's my right. If people can use it negatively, then I should be able to use it right back. I know that's not the most lefty view, but I stand by it. Just like I should be allowed to say the N-word in any way I want, because if some fucking random white kid can call me hard R the N-word when I'm like just minding my business, then I should be able to say it slightly meanly about other people, and that's
okay. Venom Jesus Adam.
Yeah, I mean, to be clear, I'm not perfectly aware of all the cultural connotations behind the N-word in America, but I'll give my opinion anyway. So in regards to this idea of the N-word being acceptable in every context, right? And the idea that hateful conduct shouldn't even factor into it because I can say the word whenever I mean. I mean, personally, I've been on the internet not very long actually. I haven't been on Discord spaces with Americans long enough, and yet I've been called certain words that I would say that if a police officer said them to me, they would probably have to face some sort of punishment, right? Because when you look at me and you are a black man, and you and I am a black man, I'm Afro-Brazilian, and you call me a jungle nigger, I tend to believe that just because you said the N-word and you own that word, that doesn't mean that you get to use it in every context now, does it? Because you can be hateful towards your own people, as long as your own people is you excluding a subsection of them. Ghetto N-word could be easily used in the same way, yeah. So it depends on the context and depends on whether or not it's actually hateful context. Because again,
I gotta jump in really quick. I just want to make sure that it's very clear on my stream. I am actually streaming. I don't want to lose my partnership. That we stand against all sort of hateful speech. And he did say it with the hard R, and something that we typically don't say.
I'm sorry, I
don't stand for any of that kind of language. But go ahead.
I didn't know it was TOS. I'm very sorry. But yeah, I mean, you call me a jungle N-word.
The workplace and you.
That's and you know, it is.
I would just say also same goes for Prime's channel. You know.
Yeah, like
yeah, same goes for my channel. Hey,
I'm pretty sure it's not TOS, but like.
I'm
just in case, you know, like
no, the new TOS is apparently the R word. So,
is that what it is? Okay.
Hold on. You cannot use words as weapons. That's all it says in TOS. So if you use a word as a weapon, that's against terms of service. However, if you use
they may say the word is discriminatory, even if you use it in a regular context, just like this police officer that got fired. Literally the same thing.
It doesn't say that in terms of service currently.
I'm saying
to make it explicitly clear that they're talking about using it as a weapon.
Gibbet, trust me, I'm not coming after you at your workplace. I will fight the same arguments you do, as long as you just don't decide to become a police officer. Like I will be on. You can wear your hair however you want. You could get on your best high heels. You can do everything. You could get your hair done, nails did. You can do everything. All right, I will be there for you.
Hey, that was a good song.
It was a great song. As long as you don't become a police officer, like.
All I gotta say is like you take the job. When you take the job, you have a chance to read them fucking rules and like deny it if they too strict for you. When I worked construction like these last couple years, like I got to legit say anything I wanted. And you know what? Some horrible shit was said by everybody because as long as we got that house built, they didn't give a fuck. But like there's some jobs where that don't fly, and like I know I gotta curtail that part of me. And Twitch is a perfect example. I can't say, like, I can't be myself with my type of language, and self-control is hard. And that's what this dude just a little bit, he slipped.
Okay, Adam.
And they decided to come down with the
So I kind of have, I want to say something towards what Katarana said, and then I want to address what Pyro just said. So when it comes to the use of the N-word in, like, certain contexts, I totally get that, like, when, like, if white people are going around calling you N-word to the hard R, like, you really want to use it back to them. And you know what? In that certain scenario, I think it's probably okay. But my big thing that I really don't like, let me clarify, is when like a group reclaims the word, like black people reclaim nigga, and then they go around all the white people and say you cannot say this word because it was used to oppress black people, right? And then they like do this kind of gatekeepy thing where they go around and they like say, well, I'm gonna call you a nigga because that's what I'm gonna do, and like I'm gonna use it in a way that's like really meme and defamatory. I feel like it just seems really shitty to me and not like a useful way to bring the word up. But like I said, as a black person, my opinion's no greater than any other black person. So like, I'm not saying I'm the authority on this.
Well, let her respond to that, and then get your second point in about.
I don't want to like derail the conversation, but I just want to like give a scenario that I had been subjected to, and I just wanted to see what everyone else's opinion is on this. So a member of my immediate family is very upset about the kind of black people that live in their neighborhood, because it's people that. Didn't their parents weren't able to afford their education, people that got scholarships, so kind of like people that are not from the right breed, but you know, still like got to the middle class. So I was like, hey, immediate family member, the reason why that happens is because of affirmative action. And my family member is like more like affirmative action, and I was like, okay. So are black people allowed to say things like that? It was a black person.
No, I don't like I said, I don't think it's useful to say things like that specifically, is what I was trying to say. And then to Pyro, when you say, like, I totally agree with you, when you sign up for a job and they say you can't say something, like, you agreed to it, those are the rules. my big problem with this case with the police officer is like, yeah, he said it, but usually there's rules and procedure when it comes to like, especially when it's speech or something like especially when it's speech and it's not speech directed at like at students or something like that, and or at like officers. I don't know what you would call the people that you police, civilians maybe, but there seems to be processes in place, and it's like, oh yeah, well, you fuck up once, and then we bring it up, and we like talk to you about it. You fuck up twice, you get suspended. You fuck
Prime
like,
actually
stuff
hit
like that.
Prime actually hit this perfectly earlier for me, like that. Like we see that like there are things that cops do and they get away with, and then like shit like this happens.
Yeah,
It seems like
exactly.
more of another problem with the system, right?
The term you're
Like,
looking for though is employers, the people that the police are policing.
yeah, the people that they protect the employers. So like, yeah, like
police
I get,
themselves are civilians.
and like
Well,
that's
Adam,
the
Adam,
thing,
to your
like we
point.
do got a bunch of broken fucking systems where rules get
that's-
enforced, like you
well,
know,
that's-
half-assedly.
But
like,
if there's like a procedure, and when like most places have like a code of conduct, and when you break code of conduct, there's like steps that you take in order to like get rid of a problem.
I get what you're saying, but like then it goes into like I would need to see the procedure for like going for punishing a cop with
Yeah,
this.
but what I'm saying is, it
For this
seems like
specific department.
a cop can go out there, right, and he can literally execute a black man in the streets,
Well, that's
right,
because
and get a minor suspension. But this guy
that's
drops the N-word on a conversation with his wife in
Because-
a car,
Maybe
and it's like instantly fired.
maybe
no,
I
but
would
no, Adam, hold on.
No, wait,
one second,
hold on.
one second.
Wait, no, I gotta say because like I just literally said that. Like, yeah, seems like that's a fucking broke ass system, and
let me explain why.
That's a broke ass
No, no.
system, and we should
Yeah,
fix
but-
the broke ass.
No investigation needed.
but-
There's no
But
death.
there are people that virtue signal to y'all and say dumb stuff like we're gonna ban nigga instead of fix the real problems, and y'all get happy over bullshit like that. And now that's why this black man is fired.
But like
Instead
that's my
of
entire
actually,
point.
No. Instead of actually wanting systemic change that helps black people, we want stupid shit like, hey, people shouldn't be able to say nigga at work. That's the shit that we
just
push
keep
for.
it like
and we're
I'm
happy
just
about.
keep not. What I'm doing is
Yeah.
I'm keeping to the topic. The topic was like he got fired. Was that wrong? Nah, he fucking broke the rules. Now, if we want to talk about changing the rules, yeah, 100%. I would love to be able to say nigga in the workplace. I would love to be able to use half the language in my real life in the workplace, and I'll like fucking fight for that at my job. But like I did sign up for that job.
Wait, but you're jumping the gun. Wait,
please don't keep talking past the issue, right? Like you it's so simple-minded to be able to say. It's really simple-minded to be able to say he broke the rules, so he got fired. You got actual officers standing on the necks of niggas that get put on administrative leave. You got niggas that like officers that have killed people in cold blood, violating all kinds of different policies, and then they just get paid administrative leave, and they still remain on the job. You got the officer who killed Philando Castile. He was not fired. The officer that killed Tamir Rice, he wasn't fired. All of these different cases where all of these cops have gotten off completely scot-free, and your simple take is just he broke the rules, so he should get fired. How can
why are you putting this much effort? The police dude is already helping him.
Like what
It's
I'm saying,
important
like,
to
we
put
all
that much
know.
effort.
Hold on, wait. What I'm saying is, we all know that policing in general has a really weird fucking problem, which you just pointed out. You can kill a motherfucker and get off scot free, and yet other things, and it's not even like specifically this one thing, just like random shit will just be picked up and be like, no, you're getting terminated, you're getting fired, and it's like, yeah, that's a problem.
But you don't see why we think black people who uphold that are silly. You don't understand that. If you're here, like, yeah, the guy should be fired.
Wait, I think, but my big thing is, I think you're talking past the issue, right? Because I'm not just saying he broke the rule and he's gone, right? I'm saying that usually when you break the rules, there's systems in place in which like you like reprimand people, right? And like these are a part of the rule. So if the rule says that, hey, you fuck up once, you get a 3-day suspension. You fuck up twice, you're gone, right? And then this guy fucks up once.
But it could also say
it seems really fucking shitty, and like they're not treating this black officer by the rules that they wrote in the same day that they treat the white officers who go out there and execute black people on the streets.
But they are treating them by the rules.
No, they could have in the rules that discriminatory action is immediate firing, but killing black
that rule, and also
they don't have the rule that killing black people for no reason is immediate deter. That's what y'all should really be worried about. But y'all want to talk about
it's
like,
like it's not,
I'm gonna help you.
It's like they don't negotiate already with like they have their own union, which is like one of the most powerful
the union didn't
unions.
fight for black people. But
But their union's gonna fight for a police officer no matter what skin color they are because it's a union. So
No,
it's
the
like,
union.
wait,
are you literally making?
Are you trying to make the argument that unions are going to be like, you're black, so I'm going to care less about you than the white cop?
Yes, Wiggles. Yes, Wiggles.
I mean,
Wiggles. What I'm making is the argument is that even within unions, we found discriminatory practices. I know that it doesn't fit within your little leftist narrative because I know that you really want to just suck the dick of every union. We recognize that even within unions, there are still discriminatory processes. There are still discriminatory practices. And so, yes, even as a black person, the union will fight for you less because union reps still have bias. So, yes.
So is this why the union's stepping up to defend him right now? Is that why your point is
hold on, Wiggle. Stop. You're memeing now.
It's literally in the article that the union's defending him. What is the meme in that?
Hold on, I'm gonna help Pyro for a second. I think what Pyro is trying to get at is that both extremes on this, the extreme that an officer getting fired for saying the N-word and the extreme that an officer can get away for homicide are both bad. I think the problem here
he didn't say that. You're trying to be
fucking interrupted.
Yeah.
No. But no, he said you said that. I just want to be clear that all day today you've been saying it's okay that this guy got fired. So I don't want to give any charitability to you that
like
you think
you guys pounded
Hold on.
We talked about this.
I got jump. I'm jumping down throats now because I'm starting to get annoyed. Like the problem here
is that,
speak correctly. With every single one of these topics, there's the what we want, and there is reality. In reality, we want officers to be held to a higher standard than a normal civilian. Does it suck that this level of standards of excellence is on the N-word? Absolutely. We want that standard of excellence to go everywhere. So would you want a police force that could get fired for killing somebody in the street unjustly and then have an investigation go on behind the scenes, and then if it finds out all that other stuff, internal investigation bullshit, but also as well as an officer being able to get fired for saying what the department considers a breaking of trust within the community, in this case saying ghetto niggas?
Joe, but the problem is, listen, because you keep looking at this thing like this is compound logic, right? It's really simple, okay? We're not saying that we don't want the union to be to be held to a higher standard or held to the highest standard, or police to be held to the highest standard. What we're saying is police are not held to the standard unless they're black and they're choosing to make a stand with a black man on something trivial, which is while still ignoring everything else. So you cannot look at their constant ignoring of everything that goes wrong within the police force. You can't look at all of those things, and then when they finally inappropriately apply a very stringent policy towards a black man and then say, well, this is a step in the right direction, because it's not, because they're going to kill a nigga tomorrow and do nothing about it.
Right. I am not by any stretch of the imagination posturing that stance.
Joe, you just went. But Joe, wait. One thing that I want to say is that Pyro is making up bullshit. Like, we've been interrupting him. He's been talking a lot. But the most important thing is all of y'all, that's cool. All of y'all had an opening. If you actually had the take that he shouldn't have been fired during your uninterrupted opening, you could have actually said that. But no, you're an asshat. You said, yeah, he broke a rule, he got fired. Cool, that's what should happen. That's what a lot of people said. Right?
Because we don't live in fucking Narnia, my guy. We live in fucking reality where we're gonna get fucked, which I mentioned in my opening statement, that he has to be careful.
No, Joe.
Hold on. This was directed. Wait. This was directed
at a time. Shut up. Everyone shut up. I'll decide who goes next. Okay? Great.
I'm not done yet.
So, hold on. Just for Gambit. Then, Pyro, you can respond because you were directly attacked. So, I'll make sure you respond. Then we'll go to Adam. All right, go.
Yes. So, Joe, I wasn't directing that at you. I was directing at what you said. You said, I think Pyro is saying X and Y. And Pyro has made no statements to support X. So, I'm attacking you on the grounds that you were attempting to be charitable to him over something that he's never uttered, and he's acting as if now he wanted to say that, but we've interrupted him so much, which is silly.
Can I go now?
Yes.
So like my original point when we started the openers, if you were paying attention at all, I literally said, Joe, you're stealing my point. We're going to have to talk about this. And then like agreed with him. Yeah, he was on the fucking job and it sucks. And then later when you guys all like ganged up on you and Fnatic all ganged up on me, I tried to get a point out and then it got into a fucking shouting match. And because my mic is shitty, didn't really get through. And then fucking Joe came in and fucking Will came in. Yeah, you guys were fucking shouting over me, man.
No.
Pay attention.
No, that was actually y'all shouting earlier, and I was saying that one person should talk at a time.
Yeah, and I'm just getting shouted. I'm annoyed. That's all.
Okay, all right, Adam.
All right, Gambit. I'm sorry, you're being so uncharitable to Pyro here. It's ridiculous.
Yes, I am. Yeah, I am. For
Pyro
sure.
said that like the rule, if the rules are that you can't say the N-word on the job, and he said the N-word on the job, this man should get fired. Right? No, it's not. If he, now, Pyro has, I don't know. I'm not, maybe Pyro doesn't believe this, and I'm just like steel manning him for no reason. But I'm pretty sure Pyro, if you asked him, should the rule exist that he should get fired for saying the N-word?
I already said no.
He said no. He said no.
Hold up. I'll clarify right now. If we want to attack the system that says, hey, you can't say the N-word, yeah, let's fucking do that. But if I have to get a job to make money to fucking live and I sign the contract that says, yo, you're going to get fired if you say these certain words and like we catch you, yeah, if I say those words, I expect to be fired. And I can't really complain and bitch about that.
Okay, good point. Hey, now let me ask you a question. Do you think it's reasonable that he's getting fired for something like that when there are also rules that talk about how the rules of engagement with unarmed civilians that they don't enforce? Do you think
it really? I think it really fucking sucks.
I'm sorry, I was finishing my point. Do you think it's absurd that they're drawing the line here while we have God knows how many examples of how they don't care about the other thing that I've been bringing up over and over again?
So, like, again, I really fucking find it shitty that those rules are just ignored and flaunted and thrown at the window. And then, like, yeah, it sucks that when it seems like they do follow the rules, they follow the rules on these type of shits. But, like, what I'm not going to do is be like, yo, since they break one rule, just throw all of them out. No, what I'm going to say is, yo, you're following this one fucking rule. Not only should you be following this one fucking rule as stringent, you should be following these rules stringent. You should be doing this like this. Yeah, you should be following it all like this. It sucks.
You know what else you can say?
I'm not about to roll back the rules just because one is being broken.
Oh, you know what you can say? But you can also say, hey, this is a dumbass rule that y'all have, and introducing these bullshit virtue signaling rules is helping you cover up the other shit that we actually want you to address. So no, Mr. White Man, I don't give a fuck if black people say nigga at work. I actually care about the black people that's dying. That's what you can say also. So you can specifically say that rules are stupid, and you can call out the hypocrisy of why they're creating these bad rules to virtue signal to
a cop.
I just like, because I covered that, we covered this already because Joe brought up like the other examples. This isn't like the anti-N-word pass. Like, this is shit that can be seen as derogatory or like fucking exclusionary and shit. And he said it like ghetto N-words. And I said earlier, if you said like ghetto WAP and shit and he got fired for this, yeah, unfortunately, it fucking sucks. It's one of those words that we're trying to reclaim. A bunch of other people find it offensive, but we're okay with it. And the same word that like WAP and Dago is, he said it on camera and he got fired.
Okay, let's go to
one last thing.
No, one last thing.
I swear, it's one sentence. It's one sentence. Okay. If he had just shot a guy instead of using that word, he'd still have his job.
There you go.
Only that man was black.
So we'll go to Adam, Catalana, and then we'll go.
Yeah, I think it's like we kind of throw like all bargaining power out when we say like we should because we don't like this rule, we should not enforce it. Because then we lose all power to like tell the police officers that, hey, these rules of engagement exist, that your officers aren't fired. You need to fire these people too. We should definitely uphold the rules, like 100%.
Okay, Catalana, wiggle.
Sure. Yeah. So there's a lot of options. If it says on your contract that you can't say words and you want to, you can leave. You can go somewhere else. I know it's not a great option. Or you can, be a part of HR and you can go ahead and change your policies. But I'm pretty sure you joined the police force to go pew 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 rather than looking at policy. So, also, are you black? Sucks to be you. You're gonna lose your job for like coughing too loud. That's whoopsie doops. Like, and I'm pretty sure there's policies about not shooting people like that are unarmed. But who's the people that are usually shooting people unarmed? white people. Had he shot a kid, he probably also would have lost his job. He probably could look at people the wrong way and lose his job. That's what it means to be black. Have fun tiptoeing. I hope you're really good at balancing.
Let's go to Wiggle.
Once again, he's a cop, all right? And then when you're looking at this scenario and you're saying these cops get away with all of these things, so this black cop, why can't they just get away with this thing? Because it's not that big of a deal. It's like, that's ridiculous. The next part of it, right, is that the same cop, if he was paid, would come after people if it was illegal to say the N-word and lock him up because it's his job, because he's a cop. So
But
it's like
but it's not illegal.
But if it was, he would do it because he's a cop and
If
it's
it
his
was-
job.
If it was illegal, then we'd
that's-
probably be
that's
having a different
doing his
conversation.
job.
I think what Wiggle means is that his job is enforcing rules, so he should expect to follow his own.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and something else that's going on here, which I'm really starting to get annoyed about, is this like weaponized 2021 id-pool dismissal of the problem with policy, and it's really starting to just like drive me up a wall. Where we can understand that there's systemic issues in the United States that have to be addressed, but we also have to understand and be very pragmatic in our approach, because we can't just label things like, oh, this is just racist and we have to change it because it's racist.
Yes.
No, we do not have power in these institutions, so we have to play fucking chess here. So
Love you,
the
Joe.
question is, what kind of policy can we create, or this department can create, so that we're not having this dumb conversation about an officer losing his job for the N-word? And then when you tackle that question, you realize, oh shit, this is a bit more complicated. I think that keeps getting missed. Maybe it isn't. I don't know.
It's not being missed,
So-
Joe. It's just
yeah.
we're having two different conversations. So what's happening right now while we're talking past each other is because I'm doing the descriptive. I'm describing a problem. I'm describing a specific problem. What you're doing, what you just talked about, is the prescriptive. These two things are not the same. These two things don't have to be in the same conversation. And if they are in the same conversation, they are not mutually exclusive. So what I'm saying is, this is descriptively what the problem is that we recognize that he would not be fired if he had killed a nigga. We recognize that they're being selective when they're enforcing stringent adherence to the rules. Like they're being very selective when they do that. That's what we're talking about there. Now, if we want to start talking about, if we want to start talking about the fact that there are like overarching systems that we don't have power on that allows them to even be stringent in this way, we can have that conversation. If we want to start talking about policy overhaul, we can have that conversation too. Right now, in this very limited panel, we were just having a very simple conversation about just whether or not this was fair, whether or not it was warranted, whether or not it was reasonable, and that's all we've been talking about. That's totally different direction.
Wait,
I'm with you. Hang on. I'm gonna go. If we agree that law enforcement is a local social issue, and every department and precinct is going to have a different approach to how they handle their officers, then it's very, very likely in a lot of districts across the United States that officers are being held to that higher standard. So the idea that an officer would not lose their job if they shot a civilian is a smooth brain mozzarella take. But we can also agree that within some departments in the United States that phenomena does exist.
Wait, if it was a black civilian, you think that's a smooth brain take to say that the officer probably wouldn't be fired if he?
We can't prove that. We cannot prove that. We cannot prove that.
Are you saying that there's no precedents where this has happened repeatedly over the country ever since Black Lives Matter has been trending, and before? Like Rodney King wasn't the proof of that. We have Martin Luther King talking about that exact same thing. There hasn't been like actual policy. We don't have actual statistics that show that Black men are more likely to be brutalized. Even the fact that even despite the fact that we resist we are less likely to show resistance and arrest. We don't have all of this data. They're like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, Joe, what are you saying?
Such a plurality.
I'm pushing back. Like, listen, it's very
officers are not being punished when they do these things against African Americans. What are you talking about? Help me.
My precinct is one of the best in the state of New Jersey. They're held to the highest of standard. However, my precinct in New Jersey is not the pristine example across all the other departments in the United States. However, we can recognize within some departments, there are departments that are doing exceptional good. However, that doesn't leave departments off the hook. So what I think is that we have to look at the local policies that officers adhere to and then ask the question, is this the level of acceptance and a level of excellence that we want for officers as it relates to that local district? If that's not, how do we change those things?
Can I
That's all
respond,
I'm
Joe?
trying to say.
So, Joe,
Yeah.
this is my problem. And you can tell where people are by the words that they use. And like, you're far too smart for this. The fact that you feel like it's a higher standard to not for having black people say the N-word shows that you bought into so much bullshit. And it is really disgusting because I know that you're smarter than this.
Yeah,
You
that's why I never said that.
understand.
That's why I never said that.
No, you literally just kept saying that, hey, we understand that some police departments are going to hold people to higher standards. Embedded in that is this conversation about nigga. So you're inherently saying or implicitly saying that not saying the N-word is of some higher moral value.
So
it
how do you
shows that
legislate it? How do you legislate?
How do you
it
get
so
it
that
out
white
then?
people
Like-
so that white people can't say the word?
you just
Exactly.
you
How
can
do you
actually
get
say exactly what you just
word
said.
Which is why I
Which is
acknowledge
racist.
incredible-
It will get struck down.
Listen, this is why I acknowledged
No, no, no.
incredibly early.
No,
I
no,
said
no.
this
No, no, no,
super
no,
fucking
listen.
early and it got missed. No, it definitely got fucking missed because this fucking smooth brain shit is happening again. I'm really fucking disappointed at this because I expect better from some of you dumb fucks. Listen, like at the end of the day, at the end of the fucking day,
What
there
dumb shit
is
are you-
a level of trust that you have to have, officers have to have with their community. By having that trust, certain words are accepted within those communities and used within those communities. The problem here is that there is an officer who is using a word which we could argue is part of a culture within a community. That's the problem here.
No, that's not.
Okay.
So what's the
so
problem?
this is
Help
so
me.
ass.
Help me,
So-
for the love of
Yes,
fucking
let me
Christ.
help you. Let me help you. The problem is you understand power dynamics in groups, right? You understand
Yes.
when one group has far more economic power, they can do things to disenfranchise minorities. So you,
Yes.
as a smart person, should understand that when these rules are being made, it's because of those power dynamics. Do you think that a panel of black people would vote to have a rule that says black people saying niggas should be fired? No, you probably
Yes.
don't. You
I've seen it happen. So yes, I've been in rooms where that happens. So I've seen that happen in real time. I've also seen black people advocate for police officers in schools. I've also seen black people advocate for
Yeah,
armed police
black
officers
people-
in schools.
They should
I've
have
seen
one
this
for those
happen.
things. No, but
I
those things
think
aren't
one of
bad.
Joe's
You're
biggest
you're
points is
comparing.
like
This
to
is
get
so
these
stupid.
rules
Hey, hey.
changed, we have to get the power to even think like, what if we do have a black panel of police officers that can make these
I'm
rules?
just-
We gotta get there first.
Let's go to.
I'm
No,
saying,
you
like,
don't. No,
Oh,
you
man.
don't.
Let's go to.
No,
let's
you
go
can
to,
call out bullshit.
Let's go to Benham. I don't think you guys are going to be able to break this stalemate. Let's go to Benham
Yeah.
and then let's try to wiggle on Adam.
Yeah, to me it's just weird, right? Because again, intersectionality, right? There are these conflicting interests here, like on how you're going to help the black community, how you're going to make things better, and what systemic problems are you going to face first. It seems to me like someone like Wiggle is saying that, hey, fuck cops, and I think it's worth it to enforce those fucking rules, even if there are some bad connotations to those rules being enforced. Fuck cops to the point where I want those enforced because it's worth it to enforce those rules. So they,
Intersectionality is so dumb, and it's as dumb as everything else that y'all are saying.
I'm,
Oh
I,
man.
Intersectionality is the same dumb shit as we're gonna give you something except real economic power.
But
And it's
you
so
want us to
dumb.
have laws that say
uh,
you want us to have
yes,
specific laws.
yes,
You
you can.
elaborate
But
on that?
like,
It's
okay,
so dumb.
intersectionality is dumb. Thank you for the 30 IQ take. Now let me finish my point.
Yes,
The thing what I'm
the
saying
finish at
is,
zero IQ take.
the thing is that police officers, right? How do we fix police? Basically, the usual like platitude that people give is you hold them accountable, right? How do you hold them accountable? You make it so that police officers need to follow the rules because they do not do that, and it is true what Fanatic said that certain rules are not followed because of bad enforcement of those rules. But this is not solved by making it so police officers can't follow all the other rules. So how do we solve this? Like, on one hand, you are enforcing a rule that you could argue is racist towards black cops, but again, honestly, fuck black cops. So it's kind of like you should the priority
so dumb.
here is to the community. If it means weakening the police institution and making them more fragile to their own rules, then yeah, I mean, I think Wiggle has kind of convinced me that that's the gambit to take.
Okay.
This is
Oh,
so
no.
dumb.
So Han,
Thank you.
Han, don't worry. You can. You'll get to respond. Let's go to Wiggle. Let's go to Adam.
Yeah, so I'm saying, like, you were saying make specific laws that say that white people can't do this. White people, the majority.
No. I was answering the question that I was asked. I think there's, and I didn't get to finish because Joe said let me finish, so I'll shut up. There's two ways you can solve it. You either, one, say, hey, white people can't say the N-word, but black people can. Or two, you just don't have a rule about nigga. But I don't ever agree with going to a world where niggas can be fired for saying nigga. So I didn't get to finish.
Are you okay with white people saying the N-word with the hard R and being police officers?
I am okay with that more so than black people being fired for saying nigga, for sure. 100%. 100%.
Black people who are
Okay, I
police
understand.
officers.
Got it.
Mhm.
Because white people that say the N-word can get their ass beat too. So
you
that's
you
just
are
something that'll
okay
happen.
with you are okay with the totality of cops being able to say the N-word with the
I'm
hard
more
R.
okay with that than black people being fired for saying
Black
nigga.
cops.
There are-
That's the specific part.
Yeah, there are other influences that will cause white cops to not just use the N-word with impunity, for sure.
Okay, so I see now what Fanatic was talking about with talking past each other. So I wanted to apologize in advance because I got a little hot on the sauce on certain positions that people weren't advocating.
No, getting
for.
hot is
So-
cool. That's cool.
Yeah. So let me center it back. You know. It's
Nah,
usually
that
I'm
shit
very
was
cool,
fire.
calm-
That shit was. I've never seen you that
So-
mad.
so-
You were like,
so get it.
brain mozzarella, fucking.
so Gambit, like the problem here is that as somebody who's been in like rooms navigating these fucking toddlers when they're talking about race, one thing that I agree with, which everybody seems to agree with, in the spaces where we talk about like actual policy changes, we can't include racial categorization in there, because what happens is you get those people who are against IDPOL and they're like, oh, I don't want to hear it anymore. So what happens is they have to change it and word it in different ways, right? So I would say we're probably closer to the latter point that you made, where we can't have regulation of certain words.
I'm not advocating that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that those are the only two options I'm okay with.
Right. However, like I acknowledge that I'm sure we all acknowledge this to an extent, that like communities have certain dialects and certain ways of expressing themselves, which is unique for that community. And something that officers have to do is be aware of that when they're navigating in those spaces. The problem is that sometimes you'll get run into situations, which I'm sure we all have, where we're arguing with some white liberal who drives a Prius and went to a Black Lives Matter protest, gatekeeping us on the word nigga. I fucking listen. All I deal with is white people in my daily life, and it's fucking exhausting.
All of us in corporate America.
Yeah, it's like, but you can't really say any N-word like that is really weird. And it's like, you want me to call you a cracker motherfucker? Like, what do you fucking want from me? Let me use my goddamn words. With that being said, like, there is a level of like understanding that there's certain words in a community that are acceptable, and certain individuals are going to express themselves, and that expression is a reflection of the community that they've come from. And sometimes employers lose sight of that.
So Joe, but Joe, it's so you laid it out so eloquently. You understand that there are communities where saying nigga is okay. Tampa, I guarantee you, because I've been there, is one of those communities where saying nigga is okay. Black people are okay with black people saying nigga. So we have to ask the question, why does the Tampa Police Department, which I can look up the demographics of Tampa, I'll do that real quick. You have to ask the question, why was that policy introduced and approved? So when we go off in this whole nonsense land to me, I want to talk more about, hey, why do you think this policy exists? Just who do you think put this policy in place? And why do you think they put it in place?
So the problem we have
even
here
say
is
that it's
like explicit. So this is kind of what Joe was talking about, is like, so when you try to make a policy to make it so that white people can't say the N-word and black
oh my god,
black people can't, right? No, wait. I totally agree with you that like we probably shouldn't make a policy that literally says in the written words that black people can say the N-word and white people say the N-word.
Hold on, I just want to give out the demographic.
Let me finish.
Let him finish. You can respond.
I didn't get to fucking finish to say the demographics. I looked them up and I was gonna say it, and he started talking, but now I gotta stop so he can finish. Go ahead.
Like 8 times, dude. Calm down.
Send the demographics. Go ahead. We're very proud of you. Sorry, no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No,
I just say we should have that black cop on the panel. Maybe
yeah, I know Middleton's majority. I know Middleton High School's majority black.
Okay.
Yeah, 43% of Tampa is black. 22% of it is white. But that 22% that now has power creates rules to hurt the 43%. And we have assets that are arguing that it's okay. It's silly.
Wait, so the idea that the white people are making a rule that says you can't say nigga is like completely out of the scope of reality. This is not what the rule says, okay? What happens is, right, we try to make rules, right?
Who the fuck is we? We weren't making those rules.
No, yeah. I know.
Please,
it was no we.
The idea is, right, that like Joe said, you can't make rules because it's just not effective. It doesn't work. It's kind of racist. That say black people can do one thing and white people can do one thing. So what we do is we make rules, right? We make rules that say things like people shouldn't be able to use discriminatory speech, right? And the issue we're dealing with here, right, is what's happening is they're taking this written rule that was probably meant to protect black people, right? And they're interpreting it in a way that's not allowing this black cop to say nigga and get him fired for it. And so what Joe was talking about is that we need to find ways to create rules that protect black people in the ways that we want, while not being able to be used by discriminatory white people to like hurt and oppress black people. It's not like as simple as like, oh, we make a rule that says like black people, like black people can't say nigga, because there is no rule that says that black people can't say nigga in this police department. Can I give you an FGC example, Gambit?
Hey, well, I want to say I was wrong. No, wait, but I want to say I was wrong. I looked at the thing wrong. It's 43% white, 22% black. The numbers are backwards. So yeah, but go ahead.
So to give you like a little bit of a little FGC story, way back at one of the winter brawls that I went to, one of the staff members complained about people using the N-word on the show floor and stuff like that.
I think I remember that. Yeah.
And I'm sure Fnatic knows a lot about Eric. Is that Eric doesn't give a fuck. So I was working under Always Godlike at the time. So I was at the desk with Eric's mom. And then the woman came up and started talking to Eric's mom about this. And then she's just like, baby, they're gonna say it. And then there was just like, well, can we talk to like the owner or something, because people are getting really uncomfortable. And then I don't know, like, and Fnatic can allude, I'm sure understands this, and maybe you understand this too, Gambit. Like, when Eric gets called upon on some bullshit, he hates it. So then, like, he has to go over there and listen to this manager talk about people. And listen, I know where it came from. It probably came from the Marvel booths. Like, okay, I know where it comes from, but I mean, in the nicest way possible. But and then what happens is, like, I'm listening to this manager argue to Big Eric about the use of the N-word, and then he says the same thing that his mom said. He's like, they're gonna say it. Like, what do you want me to do? And then he just walks away. I'm just like, yeah, that's.
Are you done? I just want to make sure. So let's go to Katarana. We had her hand up a while ago.
Yeah, I was just wondering, how exactly do you guys define blackness? Like, who is allowed to say and who's not? Because, like, that, I don't know, because it's a bit like, all of these things seem really arbitrary.
That's a different conversation. That's a different conversation. We can't have that right now. Like, that's not.
I don't get to decide what blackness is. The majority tells me. Like,
that's a different conversation. Can we not address that and just move and stay on topic? I want to address something that was already said here today that actually had to do with the topic at hand.
Generally, when it comes to panels, it's kind of like people professionally do everything but the topic. So,
okay,
I mean,
asking about blackness in this in this context, I will agree with Fnatic. It can be a little reductive. I understand maybe an allusion to that, so maybe I'll answer it directly. Right? You decide your blackness for yourself. Nobody else can do that for you. Like, you self-affirm who you are. Period. That's the take. I think.
Right.
I think it's just like we got some strong personalities. If there's an individual that hasn't been speaking much and they speak, we should just shut down the whole thing. Like, I don't know, like Venom Jesus hasn't talked much, Catarata hasn't
Wait,
talked
Venom
much. But
Jesus
if people
didn't
let them
much.
speak-
Venom Jesus talking. Venom Jesus was speaking when I left the room because he said something that was absolutely ridiculous. It's so easy to come from your little position and talk about black cops where you're once again ignorant about how black policing was even a thing. One of the largest riots that has ever happened in this country during the long hot summer of 1967 was the riot of Detroit. Hey, I'm talking. Please be quiet. Was the long hot summer? Can you mute him? Was the long hot summer of 1967 in which there hadn't been any black police officers in that force for over 50 years, where some of the most abject brutality had ever happened, which created created the tensions that led to the biggest riot of its kind, which was absolutely devastating, which created all of the policy as a result of the insane riots that happened there, that created that allowed them to start integrating neighborhoods that desegregated desegregated neighborhoods, and that's how blacks started getting their mobility and being able to be enfranchised there. And then they went on to hire all of their first black police officers as a result of that riot, and then 65% of those police officers that year that they hired were black, and that literally changed the country. They were the most forward-thinking country when it came to property and when it came to housing discrimination laws, which later on created the bedrock for them to end up making the landmark 1968 housing, the Fair Housing Act. So it's so easy, again, from your ignorant position to start saying things like F black police officers. But what we recognize is that there were people that died, and there was so much violence that happened around us trying to get black police officers. If you were actually informed about that, you would recognize how absolutely cringe and abject that statement is. It's egregious how often you talk, how arrogantly you speak on these issues that you're so completely uninformed about. It's crazy.
Venom responding, Catalana.
Now that I've been educated, I honestly, it's incredible to me because that's why I love this black panel, because even morons can educate me. So in that regard, Fanatic, with all the context that you gave me, I'd still say that yes, fuck police or fuck black police officers, and not only fuck them, but also fuck you. Stop talking to me in such a condescending way, you fucking piece of shit cunt. And now, as far as the rest of it goes, the fact that I disapprove of police as an institution does not mean that I need to know the entire history of the United States because my
it's fine. Oh,
it's absolutely.
You can
fine.
attack people with the C word.
Just go.
Okay,
Just
cool.
go.
I just don't know TOS.
So yeah, I mean, if you want to educate me in private later on, we can have a conversation for sure. But if you're going to call me out on panel and talk about the historical context, I mean, the context that you provided to me changes nothing about my position whatsoever. I still think that if you are part of a corrupt institution, that I will try to disenfranchise you. So also fuck black police and also fuck you, Fanatic. Thank you.
Yeah.
All
right. So I don't expect you to get informed in such a small amount of time. I understand it. Plus, I gotta question your brain elasticity. I don't think we're capable of actually understanding these concepts, but it's just it's insane to me how arrogant you can be. Because I know me. I know almost nothing about Brazil. Almost nothing. I would never in a million years go into a panel that's supposed to be talking about Black Brazilian issues and then insert my American opinion, thinking that I have some stake in this thing, and then say things that are absolutely wholly offensive and that are completely completely degrade the civil rights movement that we had to go through and the people that literally lost their lives and threw their lives away, specifically fighing for something, for you to just come on here with your little simple Brazilian
here's what's gonna happen. Here's what happened. Venom, you can respond. Then the next person who talks right after Venom will be Catarana. All right, no one else talks after Venom, but Catarana.
Okay, so let me explain it so your pea brain can grasp these simple concepts. Okay, I was invited to the black panel. I didn't invite myself in. I was invited because people want to hear the takes of someone who is not from the country. So if you want to start a movement,
I'm gonna have to mute you.
So
you want to start a movement to take me out of the panel because of my uninformed takes, you can do so. But I didn't ask to be here. I was invited. So shut the fuck up. I'll say whatever the fuck I want. You absolute moron.
Okay then. All right. So Katarana, go ahead.
So when it comes, I think everyone's technically allowed to make like informed takes, or at least make takes about American politics, since America tends to want to be the center of the universe anyways. So it's kind of just inviting random people to give their takes, because it's not like you guys know about any other country. And then also, just because there's like some form of history of like people fighting for a thing doesn't mean that necessarily we have to keep that institution alive. People fought for feudalism. We're not doing that now, so like whatever. Cool.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on.
It seems really shitty that Fanatics coming after like Venom like this. When Wiggle literally has the exact same dog shit take.
Yeah.
He was saying the exact same shit, exact same useless dog shit crap every time he opens his mouth,
Useless?
and it's to come
Wow,
after
you sound just like
No, wait,
you're working for the police
so
union
bad.
or something.
I sense a road traveled that the deeper we go, the deeper we will go into some content. Now, I'm all for some content. But I can see the exit.
You should have ended right there. You should have ended right there.
No, but listen.
I see the content exit, so we can take it if we want.
Yeah.
I will say right here, all right, as someone that has the ability to invite certain individuals on the panel, I invited Venom Jesus. All right. I will keep inviting Venom Jesus. I will keep inviting as long as Prime gives me that ability. I will keep inviting Fanatic. I'll keep inviting Venom Jesus as long as I have that ability and it's given upon me. And next,
is
like,
that why he's simping for your dog shit cap takes? Like,
dog shit. Honestly, you might as well just work for the fucking police union at this point. Anyway, so
they pay well. I need money.
Beyond that, Venom Jesus, let him speak on like these issues. Let him speak on this. He's more informed about American politics than most fucking Americans. Beyond that, the guy literally learned another language. Was learning every single panel he goes on about American issues just so that he can take part in speaking about it. Right?
This is stupid, Wiggle. Listen, you can say, hey, we can invite Venom Jesus. I'm all for it. Like, everybody's for it. But if he says some dumb shit, calling it out is okay as well.
Yeah, that's fine.
Listen,
it's okay to call him out on it, but you don't call him out on it because
I'm gonna finish. Right, I'm finna finish. But yeah, so Wiggle, it's actually even worse that you have these takes than Venom Jesus, because you understand everything that's going on in this country. You understand the problems with police, and to say fuck black police in a system that's corrupt and wants to get rid of black police, it's literally like a zero asset take from you.
This is from the man.
Wait, are you saying
it's
black
okay
police
for
can't
police
be
officers
corrupt?
to say the hard N word just so black police officers can say it?
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so okay, all right, everyone. Okay, so apparently we're gonna have to have a whole ass discussion simply on black police, right? That's what this sounds like.
Unfortunately,
looks like we're gonna have to do it. And
I'll have that as long as Venom's not there.
Should we have a conversation about black people and capitalism too? We should get rid of that too,
It's
right?
just going to be a fun walk-on panel. That's all I'm going to say.
It's okay. Well,
this is dumb.
This is fun.
So what we learned. Sorry, I'm talking.
No. It's fine. Yeah. No, what were you gonna say, Joe? What did we learn?
I was gonna say what we learned is people are arguing. Like, there's this discussion in lefty spaces about being echo chambers. Clearly, this space is not an echo chamber. So I will say that we're doing something good here, right?
That's why we like it.
Okay. Yeah. I'll say this. The conversation that was happening in chat, in my Twitch chat, AutoMod has never worked so hard. Let me tell you. It's been getting pretty wild up here. Looks like there's a lot more to be said on this topic. We didn't even get to to my honest members, we usually have 4 topics, right? 3 topics and a bonus topic in case one of them falls flat, right? No, we went overtime on both topics. We had a hotline up here. And you guys went at it, and Fnatic tried his best. But as Wiggle said, it was just a fucking phase. I
told you, buddy. You're muted. He's lying saying he was chill.
didn't raise my voice. I didn't scream. I said my I was not raising my voice. I'm still chill, dog.
No, but see what's fucked up is that Fnatic didn't tell me that he was going to transfer his energy into me. I didn't know that was going to happen.
I'm saying
True.
Fnatic knows how to follow rules better than this Tampa police cop. So like,
Yo, I feel sorry. So whenever there's like a live event happening, and which it was Biden's address today, when there's a live event, my channel suffers in terms of viewership, right? But you guys missed it. This was a hot panel. I don't know what to tell you. You missed it. I'm sure whatever Biden said is not nearly as interesting what happened here. You missed it. It was amazing. Yeah. It's going to be up on our YouTube channel. I switched what YouTube to go subscribe on that. But like, yeah, you missed it. This was a hot ass panel. I'm sorry, buddy. You should have been here. And I think the open walk-on panel, which is what's going to happen right now, stream is not ending. We're going to roll into our walk-on panel right after this, right? But yeah, I think it's going to be hot. I think a lot of people will have stuff to say about it. If you have something to say about this, you can come on. Watch your fucking mouth. Do not fucking TOS me. I will fucking ban you immediately. Don't fuck around. So watch yourself. So anyway, then we're going to go to our walk-on panel. It's going to be great. So before we do that, I'm going to give an outro to all these amazing individuals. So, all right. I'm not going to go to Venom Jesus first. We're going to get back to you. We're going to go to Gambit. Gambit, thank you for being here. Gambit, of course we were going to disagree on everything. Like, this is exactly what it was. What did I tell you? What did I tell you? I told you, like, from the very beginning, like, from the first topic, I'm like, this is going to escalate very quickly. This is going to escalate extremely quickly. I knew we were going to have a fight, and here it is. But, like, as always, I enjoy the struggle with you, my brother. So, Fnatic, Gambit.
All black people look alike now, bro.
They all look alike. Gambit, please. I mixed Joe, the Silly Serious, and our friend Kino Elise up a few weeks ago. That was extremely embarrassing. And I was saying something heartfelt to Joe, like something deeply heartfelt, and I'm like, Kino, and it hurts so bad. It hurts so bad. So I do that to everybody. Anyway, Gambit, had to check myself. Thank you for being here, buddy.
Yeah. No, I love it, man. We get heated sometimes. I'm absolutely okay with it. I get heated sometimes. So I mean, I'm always fine with being me, Fnatic, and Venom Jesus had like a 4-hour post panel last ABE.
Like I wasn't fucking there.
You were there. Yeah, you were there. Yeah, my bad. I was finna say there was somebody. You left though. You're
gonna silly serious Kino leave me now.
Listen, I love everybody here. We can argue blue in the face. I'll continue to argue with you. If I think you say something that's asshat, I'm probably gonna be the first one to tell you. But I love these conversations. I actually thought the second topic we were gonna all just agree, so it kind of like surprised me, and I think that's why I was so taken aback that people are like, "Yeah, let fire police for saying nigga," like it's crazy. But yeah, no. All in all, good conversation. Unlike how y'all felt about Tyler Perry, if you disagree with Prime, you should still subscribe to him because we should support black people even if we don't agree with them. You should follow Venom Jesus even if you disagree with him. You should follow Fnatic if you disagree with him, right? So we should support black people regardless. My take that I had from the first topic will always stand. No matter, I still follow Venom Jesus. So yeah, no matter how much I disagree with people, especially if you're black, I'm always gonna be cool with you.
All right. Everyone, Jishu Gambit's link is in chat. Go follow him. He's also streaming out here. All right, he's also blowing it up. Yeah, give him some love. And again, if you guys have any other platforms you want people to follow you at, put in my Twitch chat so people can hit you up. All right. Next, we got to go to the MVP, right? Who was all about that Italian food here. It was mozzarella brain takes. I think Joe was just hungry. I think that's what was happening here. He was hangry, and it came out today. but we love you, Joe. We're always appreciate you being around here, right? Letting us know when we're having those dumb takes, right? And I respect you despite your opinions on Marvel. I mean, like, I respect you a little less after today. But despite your opinions on Marvel, we love you, Joe. You're MVP here. Joe, tell the world about yourself.
Yeah, just as long as we can agree that the Thor movies are trash, we'll be all right.
All right.
Yeah, They're the shittiest bunch. Like you can't defend them. They're all trash. So with that being said, I just want to like do a little bit of disclaimer. If I get hot and heavy and go down your throat, I'm only going down throat on your ideas. At the end of the day, like we're in fucking year 2 of COVID, so I'm trying to make. I want a situation where we can all look at each other at like a Twitch convention when they finally put debates on there and go like, yeah, remember that time where we argued about like race realism for 8 hours on this one dude? Yeah, that was good times. Because again, like you guys are all great. You guys are all great. I've seen a lot of you like in the walk-ons when I watch them at night, so I'm very happy to be part of the space, and I'm glad that like we're able to talk about these things. But just improve your takes, okay, and it'll be all right. But that being said, you can follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Joe Lewis. The O's is 0. If I ever say something that rubs you the wrong way, you want to talk more about it, my door is always open. So.
All right. Joe Lewis is link in the chat. Please check him out. Joe Lewis is really blowing up there. Like his stream has been exploding. I've been watching it, seeing it happen. No, it's blowing up, buddy. You're moving on up there. So we want to support Joe Lewis as well. All right. Next we have Pyro Tyrant. Pyro Tyrant, thank you for coming through. Yeah, things got a little heated. Usually, not much fire actually comes your way, but it happened today.
Yeah, no, y'all coming at me with the dumbass takes. I'm gonna hit you on the head, like with my metaphorical logic. Like, but that being aside, like, I love all y'all. Like, y'all cool. These are some pretty decent panels. You know, like Gambit, I love you. You know, you're cool. Like Fanatic, dog shit takes, but. Dude makes some excellent music. I checked out the one you made for your daughter, I think you said, and god damn, that was actually pretty good. Like that hit at the right time. Like thank you Prime for having me on. You know, I'm gonna pimp my shit too. If you wanna see more of this content, subscribe to me on Twitter at Prime Caves, whatnot. That's where I hang out. Give me a Prime, give me money, all that shit. Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Thanks so much, everyone. Yeah, again, if you have any other links, film in chat. Next, we're going to go to our illustrious mod. His name. Oh, actually, we have 2 mods. Yeah, that's right. His name right now is Wiggle. Wiggle, thank you for coming through. Thank you for helping out in general. Maybe not today, but but in general, thank you for helping out, keeping this train running. You know, you're a valuable member of the team. Yeah, we had some fire today, buddy.
I've got to say, first and foremost, I'd say like it was great. Our new members rarely come with that energy. I'd say like maybe like Azzy came with that energy his first time as like top dolphin. Cat, you would like coming in hot, and then Katarana. If your audio was better at first, I'm glad you fixed it. Both of you guys can hang. You took a lot of heat. People came swinging at you guys. Really respect it. Beyond that, I would say like Pyro. You almost never get to talk that much. It was nice to see you speaking up, like always getting the chance to speak, showing more of like your takes, etc. Gambit. This was prime Gambit. Like Gambit, usually like you get half Gambit, half like I gotta go. My wife's calling me or some shit. This was like prime Gambit. Joe Lewis. Out of nowhere, Joe Lewis out of left field going like, nah, dog shit, mozzarella, smooth brain.
I agree with Prime on that. He was promised mozzarella and like someone.
And I would say like to fuck with Chilldatic. All right, like fuck Chilldatic. All right, you Fanatic, your best content is when you angry as fuck. And then this rivalry, Venom Jesus, man, I'll tell you right now, man, keep coming back. It's very nice to have you on the panel. I do like your takes, and I love this rivalry thing forming. I like it. I like the venomosity. I like the anger. It makes the panels more exciting for me, and I only care about myself. All right.
Oh boy! Don't worry, we will definitely get back to Venom Jesus. Okay, next we have Adam. Adam, one of those new people. Adam, yes, I knew you could hang after like he came in here fighting me. Right, that's what his first taste of this panel was. He came in here fighting me. He put up a good fight. I mean, I still crushed him. I mean, obviously, but like he put up a damn good fight, and I really wanted to see more of him. So I'm so happy that you were kind enough to accept an invite. Definitely a welcome addition here. Adam, tell the world about yourself.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I was super happy to get invited. I was super excited, and dude, I love talking to you in the open panels prime, and I came here and it was a lot of the same energy. I'm a little bit upset that I didn't get to hang with the real spicy fanatic. I still feel like I missed out, but I got real spicy Joe, so that was pretty great. Yeah, I hope I get to come back and do some more of these. This was a lot of fun. Check me out, twitch.tv/Top Dolphin. Hope I should start streaming more. But yeah, thanks for having me. I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. Wiggle, dog shit, top take. But you seem like a really chill dude. Like nothing against you personally, even if you like have some smooth brain mozzarella shit, in the words of my Lord and Savior Joe Lewis.
I'm gonna say this first of all, spicy Joe Lewis is a rare dish. It's a rare dish, and I enjoy every bite. Other than that, Top Dolphin, I will say this to you: if my takes are dog shit, I revel in the idea of what kind of education you received growing up, and I would say we really do need to fund our public education system more.
Okay. All right. We're moving on up. Okay. So next, we want to thank our second new person. We're very happy to have her. That was Katarana. Katarana, thank you for jumping in. Katarana came through on not a great day a few weeks back, but she hopped in to the open panel. She said she wanted in. I didn't get back to her immediately, but then she got back to me and saying, no, I want in. And I'm so happy that she did that. So she's a welcome new addition here as well. Katarana, yeah, can't wait to have you again in the future. And hopefully we get the full course of you, right? And we see what you can really do. But Katarana, thanks for being around. Tell a bit about yourself.
So I actually didn't get to talk very much in the one that I wanted to talk a little bit more on because my microphone decided to not exist at that time. So just to give my final conclusion on the topic one, no, I don't. I refuse to support Black people just for being Black. Okay. Anyways, so that doesn't make me a righty. Just means that I don't like bad movies. And yeah, so I am a physicist soon to be. I'm officially going to be a physicist in a couple of weeks. I am soon to be a big satellite girl, and I am. Yeah, so I stream physics content. I will be streaming on Yes TV next week about clean energy. I also just stream about all types of questions. On Saturday, I'm going to be streaming about the origin of black holes. And I also come on these panels to sit there and listen to people that don't know how to add very well, give their takes. And then and in general, yeah, I would have been a lot more participatory, but I literally like came off of 10 hours of meetings, so I'm fucking dead. But next time, I'll whip all of you like cream. So it's cool. Don't worry.
Carl is great. Your environment, Seattle, nicest guy. He'll let you talk for like an hour before he says one word, even if he hates what you have to say. Such a nice guy.
We're gonna get you a nice little Blue Yeti capitalist mic too.
Sir, keep that shit to yourself. I got this from Vuvuzuela, and you're not getting anything new.
All right, I'm really excited. Yeah. So we're looking forward to that. All right. So we got two people here that I need them to make up. All right. Fanatic. Come on, buddy. You know the energy we come here with, right? We come here with that spice, but we leave here cool, right? We leave here with the milk takes, all right? So we calm it down afterwards. So, fanatic. Thank you for being here as always. You're definitely welcome here. But I need to come on. We gotta make amends here with you and Venom, right? We gotta make amends, buddy. So, fanatic. Come on, your brother in arms here. Your brother in arms. Can you make amends with him?
Well, sure. I think it's just I don't know. There's a big difference though. Like I feel like when we have like differences in opinions and stuff like that, I think that's fine. But I do think for you to start denigrating like I don't know actual police officers and some of the civil rights advances that we made, I feel like it's a little bit ridiculous. At the end of the day, like you're entitled to your own uninformed opinion, and I'm going to leave him with it. With that, it's just sometimes grating, I think, the idea that we have to entertain that while adults are talking about topics that they're informed about. But at the end of the day, I'm glad that you found a space that people will let you go ahead and gish gallop and say whatever random nonsense comes to your mouth that's completely uninformed. You're entitled to your bad takes, just like I'm entitled to mine. So, I mean, if that's making up, then so be it.
Yeah, I really appreciate it, And Luego, you said that this was like a rivalry forming, but I don't think it's a rivalry, because for it to be
sounds like a rivalry to me, boys. Let's get it.
No, I don't think it needs to be a rivalry, because for it to be a rivalry, we need to be equals, and I believe that Fnatic's IQ threshold is a bit too low for that to be true. In regards to everything else, like I do appreciate everyone on the panel that lets me talk in spite of me, and I'm very sorry for this. In spite of me being foreign, I'm very sorry for being foreign, and I always get in trouble with it when I try to back up your points. So it seems to me like I got most of the hits for your points, buddy. But I'll do it anyway.
Vet of Jesus. Vet of Jesus. All I have to say is, at least when you're on the side of Wiggle and you get attacked, Wiggle will defend you. Which is more than I can say for most people when you're on their side. They'll leave you in the mud and they'll be like, well, actually, that's what you were saying, and I actually diverted it this way.
Anyway, I mean, it's all good. I mean, if Fnatic wants to talk to me in private after without all the spectacle, I'm more than willing to entertain me. I'm always down to being educated. Wiggle knows this, for I try to change my minds on a lot of things. Pyro Tyrant, I've talked to him in private, he changed my minds on a lot of things. I'm just trying to learn here. I actually only got into the Twitch political space in 2020 during COVID, so I'm still trying to figure some things out. So far, I'm unconvinced that my opinions today were wrong, but I'm always down to change, And if anyone wants to talk to me, always hit me up. Also, and thank you, Prime, for giving us this platform. And also, hi to the two new members. You guys were fire today. I really appreciated the participation.
Okay, yeah. So I'll say this. That every single one of you is welcome here. I appreciate all of you. I hope we can make amends to one another eventually. Maybe off camera. Maybe it has to happen off camera. I don't know, right? I hope we can make amends to one another. But I do appreciate every one of you. Venom being one of my illustrious mods, helping out here on the channel. Been a big supporter. Been a big contributor. So I appreciate him just as much as anyone else here. All right. So, yeah, this escalated. I saw it coming. But. So we're gonna roll on to our walk-on panel right after this, where audience members like you, yes, you, sitting at home, may participate. But
no, we all staying. We all staying. No, it's closed.
I gotta eat. Can I just call my old lady? I gotta maybe a tuna sandwich, maybe with some gluten-free crackers.
Yo,
my job's just kind of hard, all these
ghetto
angels out there that I gotta stop, getting stabbed.
Don't. That's rule number 1. Don't argue about dinner while you're being recorded.
So, thank you all for being here. To my panelists, I really appreciate it. Thanks for coming here, spending your time, your energy, your knowledge, your passion, certainly your passion. Thank you for sharing all of that with my audience members. I'm sure they appreciate it just as much as I do. Have a good one. Bye.
All right.